Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our Guardians of the Astral Sea Spelljammer campaign. I am, as always, your GM and Master of Ceremonies for the evening, W. Adam Clark. And I can tell you that you would generally think, if you're not of the bearded persuasion, that no shave November becomes a thing that's rather easy because you don't really shave in the first place. Let me tell you, this down here, I shave every day. That and, I mean, it's tough to see on this camera, but I no longer have cheeks because this isn't where my beard stops. This is where my beard stops. I have like a, Batman and Robin mask that doesn't get bearded and everything else does if I don't trim it. So right now I am slowly transmuting into a Sasquatch. And tonight we are joined by our good friends, starting in the purple circle.
Hi, I'm Ari Cypress Everly. I play Seth, the plasmoid fathomless warlock. Seth is short for cephalopod, like this guy, because I like to do a big, Seth likes to do a big, tentacly themed thing for her fathomless patron. Fun fact for the day, although I actually don't even think I've seen this series on TV for like 15 years, a lot of Seth's attitude is derived from Hannibal of the 18.
I mean, that's incredibly fitting.
Yeah.
And green circle.
Hello, I'm Knock the Silence. Today I will be playing Car. He's a 3 green ranger. Fun fact about him, while he does very much enjoy his occasional elf, he never quite got a taste for horse like most of his people do. He was more favorable to Kank.
Nice.
Kank is a very large herbivorous, looks like a beetle sort of thing.
Ooh.
And in the golden circle.
Hi, I'm Steedy Golden Dragon, and I'm playing Maeve Glitterwind. And my thing about Maeve for today is that she really enjoys Gordon's cooking, and she really enjoys his little teapot's chocolate.
Nice.
Hot chocolate.
And
she thinks his teapot's cute.
Nice. And in the red circle.
Yep, I'm the old bacon eater. I'm old. I eat bacon. I play games badly. I'm currently fighting a COVID booster shot from this morning.
Oof.
Things are going to get ugly real quick. And Gordon thinks another fishing trip might be in order because, let's face it, that space eel went over real well. Real well indeed.
Yum, 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 yum.
Yeah, and suddenly I want unagi. Okay. Sorry about that, dude.
No worries. No worries. So, I know it's been 2 weeks. Can anyone remember what we did last?
See, well, last week we went to a port. I forget the name of it. Started with a D.
Yep.
After
same problem.
Yeah, after servicing or to see about getting any chip repairs done.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were out and shopping, there was a little bit of a disturbance in the city with great big crystal pillars popping up out of the ground in the middle of the city that were bringing up things from below, above, inside. Not exactly sure. So we fought them out, and then the captain swung by and literally picked us up out the middle of town and got out of Dodge. And while we were on our way to the Rock of Brawl to meet up with somebody, because we also had Captain Andwell in tow.
Arlie.
Yeah.
Arlie?
Arlen.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, we had the captain in tow, so we were going to meet their ship at the Rock of Brawl to hand people off and that kind of stuff. We were attacked by a man of war. We didn't exactly figure out who it was. It was it was an elven ship.
Mm-hmm.
But we fought them off, and I think we had just finished that combat when we'd ended.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
As I remember,
Interesting point of note: those giant, tentacle-like things he mentioned coming up out of the ground, we could not find any way to actually destroy it. It just seemed to keep feeding it energy no matter what we did.
A live crystal, and it wasn't particularly organic or non-organic. It was weird.
Whatever it wasn't friendly.
It was definitely not friendly.
It was definitely not.
No.
Okay, I think that's actually a very, very solid wrap up. So that puts us starting on the deck of the Wandering Glider, where the elven ship has disappeared in an attempt to not
Get destroyed?
Get entirely murder-faced. Two of the three boarding party managed to escape, and you have one elf on the deck who is currently prone and dying and failing death saves.
Are they dead or are they dead or not dead? Because I think the captain said something about not really wanting to kill elves.
I mean, normally when you get to NPCs and say they are dead, that is shorthand for they are now down and will take the next 3 or 4 turns failing death saves before they finally expire. It's just a mechanical shorthand. So technically he is dying and not actually dead. But that's a situation that is a short-term problem with a long-term solution, which will resolve itself in the next 24 seconds.
Okay.
Shall I heal him so we can interrogate him?
Can just keep him alive, just to be on the safe side, because it's harder to reverse it the other direction.
Yeah, no kidding.
Might I make a suggestion first, Mom?
Absolutely, Archibald.
I think he will be far less likely to be a threat to himself and others, and thus himself, if he is bound a bit before we recover him.
We can probably manage that. I'll go over and find his hands and feet.
Please proceed.
Is that a Kool-Aid man with a gun? It's close. It is a hippo man with a gun.
A darling hippo man.
And dynamite.
who we love very much.
More boom booms.
Yes. I'm going to just use Cure Wounds. He's tied up now. And I should roll a 1d8 to see how many.
First, who's doing the tying up parts?
I am.
Regis.
Okay. Give me a
tying up check.
Maybe survival or sleight of hand or.
I'm gonna say sleight of hand or survival, which in your case means survival.
Yeah.
That dice said 2.
I feel like if I were really quick on the draw, I would have said that's something that somebody can help with, and that I can in fact give him some kind of an assist.
Go for it. All right, roll again, Noctis. This is your advantage roll.
Gray's presence is felt.
Wow.
Okay.
Well,
love you, Gray.
Literally slipped. Yeah, at this point, Gordon would say, no, here. And let me do sleight of hand to do this.
Okay. Third try. And this one, and at this point, we're sticking with whatever comes out best.
Yeah. Because
I don't think he can roll lower than an 8, but it might get close. And in fact, he did, because that's also a 7. So the best you guys can manage is an 8. That's fine.
All right, so I quickly kick his weapons away, since that's the best we can apparently do.
Okay. And
we don't have time to keep trying to tie him up.
And Maeve is going to do a curative. And he is prone, but no longer in a state of dying.
Good enough.
Yeah, but go ahead and remove anything that might be spell related stuff, weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he gets 7 points. So he's bloodied still.
Very much so.
Hey, wait, do we have an actual brig? Because it's shit.
I mean, you
Like
did
a real
until you
thing?
turned it into a hydroponic garden.
That's hilarious.
Right.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's very important. We need that far more often. We need food and drink a lot more often than we need to keep somebody prisoner.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, unfortunately, all the plants are kind of in suspension because your gardener doesn't actually know the grow plant spell.
I mean,
Yeah.
they
You
grow
don't
whenever
need
you're
a spell to
somewhere.
grow plants. You realize that, right?
You do when you're somewhere where time doesn't pass, so nothing ages.
I mean, that's fair.
So your
Boy.
best bet is probably on the bridge deck. There is a conference room.
Oh, yeah, I see that. See where you're
Um,
pinging that.
So you can likely store him there if you
right.
wanted to do any questioning or whatever. Either that,
Yeah, I
or
just
you
had-
could, or Archibald could temporarily let him use his room. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, Mom, because I do have a number of gunpowder making materials that I store in there for making ammunition, and that doesn't exactly seem the kind of thing that we'd want to give access to a
That's a hot
prisoner.
idea.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Nor do I really
that's-
want to just walk him through the entire ship while he's conscious. I just want, while he's unconscious, to drop him somewhere where there aren't too many dangerous things.
Right.
How about the conference room then?
That'll do.
Okie doke. Down the stairs.
And then the captain doesn't have to go far if she wants to talk to him.
All right. Down the stairs. And I will pull everyone into that room, with the exception of the people that don't fit, and then I will move them. We can get rid of your tentacle for the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, tentacle's not up.
Okay. So,
All right.
you have an elven prisoner.
I mean, we can even put him somewhere comfortable, like the sofa or a chair or
Yeah,
something.
he's comfortably on the sofa. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
There are
Oh,
2 doors. He's not getting out. Both can be locked.
All right, charisma lady, because I don't have any.
What? Me? Yeah. Sure. I mean, I don't know anything about what's going on, but
It's okay. You'll be better at it than your crew is at knot tying, so you'll be fine.
Oh, so true. So true. So true.
got great ice today.
At least we're not in combat.
Don't you jinx. Anyway.
Well, combat just ended, so combat literally just ended like 2 minutes ago.
Yep.
So-
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, does anybody want to do or get anything or go anywhere before he wakes up? Or, I mean, I was going to kind of let him wake up. I don't,
Well, I mean,
probably won't take very long.
he kind of is awake when he's
Kinda is
healed.
sort of
So,
awake.
yeah.
Okay. He's just a little groggy.
No, he's just a lot beaten the crap out of. He's at about 10% of his health.
I mean, we don't have a lot of extra healing supplies, right?
Right.
You usually just let people sleep it off.
I mean, you generally don't heal prisoners beyond what you need to be able to transport them anyway, so it's fairly customary.
So, now here's where the fact that I totally lost my notes comes back to backfire. I mean, we were just working with, well, no, we said we don't know who they are,
You know that they are from the Xaryxian Empire, predominantly because they are wearing the same armor as the soldiers that you saw on the last Elven Man of War, which you knew was from the Xaryxian Empire. The difference being that these guys, for some reason, if you flip over the soldier that you have captured, you will notice that their helmets have a included mask over the face, which helps to conceal their identity.
Well, I'm not going to remove that just yet. There's no reason to be rude just because they tried to kill us.
Right.
We just had a ship and a captain that we were working with during the White Whale incident, and that was
The first king.
the first king, captained by. Again, I had notes and then I lost them.
Du-du-du.
You got Noctis?
No, I don't think so. I have a note for Citrelli? Or Strethy? I don't think that's it.
It is. Captain
is?
Citrethi.
Oh, okay.
Citrethi?
Yeah.
Okay. Great, cool. So, all right, so when he wakes up,
Okay.
I will say, it's very interesting that we were just attacked by a ship of the Xaryxian Empire when in fact we were just working with Captain Citrethi, the captain of the First King, in a mission we were just in. That seems rather strange that we would then suddenly be attacked by someone from his same empire. Would you care to enlighten us as to why your ship attacked ours?
I will mention the fact that empires often have a number of different activities in play at once, and thus the actions of Captain Citrethi and the actions of Commander Vale are completely irregardless of each other.
I'm sorry, was that an in-game quote or just a GM?
Yes.
Okay.
That was very much his response.
Okay. And he just said a name too, and I forgot.
He did.
That. And I forgot
Commander
that quickly.
Vale.
Commander Vale?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have no doubt that's true, and in fact, it's entirely possible that Captain Citrethi has not even had time to communicate the results of our expedition to that many people in the Empire. It still seems strange to me that there was no mention at that time either of any hostilities or any reason that a random ship like ours that has no particular military connections to any military operations would suddenly find itself attacked by any Imperial vessel at all.
Then perhaps it doesn't specifically have to do with your ship.
So you're just attacking any non-Xaryxian ships you encounter now? That seems like a lot of work.
I never said that.
Ah.
I said the attack did not have anything specific to do with your ship.
Did it have something to do with here, I'm going to whisper to her
Go
to
ahead.
ask him if it had anything to do with the flowers that came up out of the ground from the place we just escaped from.
Do you know anything about these crystalline structures that just erupted from the nearby port?
Give me a persuasion check.
As well as, I assume, also insight check to try to read any kind of reaction.
Yep. The astral vines. Yes.
Astral vines, they're called. What are they?
Another check. Astral vines. Ooh. Astral vines are a process
Just need that.
by which
Yes.
astral vines are a process by which the resources of a world. Sadie, did you wanted to delete that rather than play it?
Yes.
Give it back. There it goes.
I always worry I'm going to do that.
It happens. No worries.
That's why I try to delete things, not during live gameplay in case I mess it up.
Nope. No worries. I'm sorry. Uh-oh. Ace is going to do a thing. What was the thing that you just asked before I got so easily distracted?
Oh, I just asked what the astral vines were.
The
Since
astral
people mentioned
vines are designed to collect a planet's energy. It is a process that takes months, and then that energy will be transmitted in a single enormous burst of light back to our home system to be absorbed by the star Xaryxis.
Thirsty
Why
Star.
is this necessary?
To replenish the energy of the star to keep it from dying out.
Ooh. So your star's at risk of dying. That sucks.
It's very strange.
Not risk, certainty.
Oof. Ouch. Yeah, I could see why you'd want to do something about that. There's no way to collect these energy without these things spawning things that kill everyone in their path?
Oh, it doesn't kill everyone in the path. It just drains all energy from the stellar body and turns it into a dead husk.
Ah. So it is a planet-killing device.
Yes.
But a star's a lot bigger than a planet, so I get the energy ratio thing going on here. Yeah. I mean, I totally get the whole can't survive without your home star thing. I do. But you're not worried that people are gonna take adverse to you killing everybody on the planet?
I mean, generally, the dead can't take averse to anything.
Yeah, but usually people know them and whatnot. I mean, are you
Most
only
people
targeting
don't
ones
know-
that aren't part of enemy empires?
Most people don't know people that are on different worlds. Most people only know people on their own world. So when the entire world goes, so does everyone that knew them.
But your empire has multiple worlds, right?
Of course.
So you're probably targeting planets that aren't part of rival empires that someone could know and care about the fact that the whole planet just died.
Precisely.
I see the logic of that. Just trying to get a, idea of the whole, strategy here. So then what do we have to do with it? Just because we just escaped from one of those worlds and would be able to report what just happened? Is that kind of the idea there?
You were seen fleeing. You were seen fleeing the world, and thus you were an information risk.
Right. That's what I figured. Okay. All right. Just so we get, all our facts straight and everything.
Did you attack the Grand Bombard as well?
I mean, The ship I was on didn't. We were here. I can't tell you what happened with any other vessels.
But it is possible all the other ships in the flotilla that were at risk. Had the first king come back with us?
Nope. And in fact, if you go back and check the videos, I will tell you that when everyone got there, for some reason, the first king was no longer with the convoy.
You know what, guys? The first king did not come back with us. Did y'all realize that? I'm not necessarily accusing Captain Satrethi of anything during the expedition. He may have been informed afterwards.
Also, if you go back and watch the video before that video, you will find that when Captain Corstal said what world they were going to, because it was the closest available one for docking and restocking procedures.
He wasn't coming with us, right?
No, I asked you all for an insight check and to try to read his expression, and none of you passed.
Well, that's all right.
Okay. So yeah, we have no idea that he knew anything at the time.
No, the players know. The players obviously know.
But the characters,
the characters are just like, victim of circumstance.
Yeah. So yeah, our characters have no way of knowing that.
Well.
All right. Well.
Can you think of anything else to ask him, Harry?
Not at this exact moment.
I guess we better.
Why don't you? I'm sorry. What was your name? Or whatever name you'd like to give me. I'm really not fussy. I just want something to call you.
Hestervale.
Hestervale. Well, Mr. Hestervale, why don't you make yourself comfy for a little bit? Somebody's gonna sit here and guard him.
I can take care of that for you, Mom.
Thank you, Archibald. While some other conversations happen elsewhere, and thank you for the insights, Hestervale. We will be speaking to you shortly.
All right, so
And
Archibald the Kool-Aid Man will sit down over here, and with his gun out, armed and loaded, continue watching while you guys, I guess, are going to go talk to the captain.
Yeah, basically, that was pretty much my thought, yeah. I didn't really want to go any further into anything without getting the captain's insight on this. The captain's Elven, so...
Arla is also going to stay here, so that's much more guards than I needed.
That's pretty darn secure. Did was Gordon very obvious about his feelings? Was I picking up on that before we left?
I don't think you've ever seen Gordian not be obvious about his feelings.
True. He doesn't filter very well.
So after we leave the room, you all right there, Gordon?
I'm upset. These people are killing whole worlds.
Oh, I totally get the being upset thing. I just didn't figure I was going to get more out of him by being mean to him. So,
I don't normally, and I understand that he's following orders, but you've no idea how very much I wanted to make him as uncomfortable as sentiently possible.
Agreed.
As organically possible.
Yes.
He wouldn't even say organically possible. He's not organic.
Yeah,
I know.
I can't see. I mean, there might be some organics in there, but not very much. Mostly hydraulic.
There's at least enough organics that I can magically put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Dick.
Well, I wanted to give you guys a chance to vent that stuff out. I mean, it's a little... Yeah, they're just kind of killing entire planets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My goddess would be very angry.
I think a lot of people probably would.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, back home, we would hunt down those predators and then eat them.
I mean, he looks edible, but let's not go there quite yet.
Are you sure?
I don't think I want to eat a star elf.
We are all pretty sure that the Thrakreen wants to eat a star elf.
I mean, technically, it's not cannibalism. Not the same race.
Elven is
I'm not
a
even fleshy, so I don't even think
Yeah.
I'd notice.
Elven is
honestly-
a delicacy amongst the Thrakreen.
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes,
Mhm.
that's actually canon.
I actually
Okay.
remember that. Yes.
Wait, my character might know that. I mean, I speak
So
the
would you be
language,
with-
so it's possible that somewhere
Give
in the
me
learning of the
a
language,
intelligence check.
I would have picked up on a piece of information.
Give me an intelligence and/or history check, your choice.
Oh, Lordy.
Doesn't matter. I'm not skilled in history.
Well, you remember that the Thrakreen eat sentient races, and you
Right.
don't specifically remember which ones.
I didn't learn the word for elf meat. I mean, I'm saying that that happens with language, right? There's
Right.
words for specific
Yes.
kinds of meat.
Yeah, like a lot like there are many words for rain in Japanese. There are lots of words for meat.
That's true. I probably don't remember all of them. All right, so all right, well, all right, but I do want to go talk to the captain.
Okay. You are in the bridge.
Captain.
Yes.
So we brought back a guest from the fights. He's in the conference room back there. We did as little showing of the rest of the ship as possible, but the details of the ship probably aren't his concern. Apparently, this ship under the command of Commander Vale attacked us because we were leaving the planet that those things that he called Astral Vines were attacking. Apparently, those things are an energy collection device that collects all the energy from a planet, which is unfortunate for the residents of that planet. They are doing so because apparently the central star, the Xaryxian Empire, is in the process of dying. And they are trying to get energy to at least keep it alive. I don't know if they can actually reverse the process, but that's kind of the part of the larger discussion, isn't it? So our guest's name is Hestervale, and he is currently being guarded by Archibald and Arlen. And so he was the only one that we actually dropped. We chased the rest of them away, and the ship fled. So we may be at additional risk later if they find us again. They did not want any witnesses. They are specifically attacking planets that are not part of empires so that there will be no witnesses and no one to report that something's going on. So likely, nobody really knows that this is happening. At least
Right.
nobody that's stayed alive. And it's possible the rest of the flotilla has been attacked as well. Since having this conversation, we've distinctly remembered that the first king did not come back with us before. So at some point, Captain Zertrethi must have found out that this place was going to be attacked. But they're trying not to leave any witnesses to these things. It's killing entire planets and everyone on it, so they have no witnesses when they're trying to do this energy collection. That's pretty much the summary of what we found out that's going on.
So, what are your thoughts on the matter? She says to the crew.
Oh,
I mean, obviously, them just randomly killing entire planets is not okay. They're
don't
not
know
going to
what we
stop
can-
unless someone makes them or unless someone can find a way to heal their star. I'm just being practical here. I'm not in charge of deciding when wars should start, but those seem to be the universe's options right now. As for us personally, I mean, I don't know what we can do about it. They know our ship now, and they know we're witnesses. I'm not sure they're going to stop coming after us.
I mean-
seems like
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
It seems like we should do whatever we can to stop this. I mean, they're not going to stop unless one of those two options are reached. I'm not sure entirely everything that we can do, but there's got to be something we can do.
Well, space is big. Really big. You wouldn't believe how incredibly big it is.
I knew it was going to go there.
Yeah.
Of course you were.
So, there's always some place we could hide and not be seen. Or the other option is we try to reverse the direction of an entire empire.
I mean, that sounds entirely feasible.
Shall we put it to a vote?
Well, we're putting it to a discussion right now. I want to hear everyone's thoughts on the matter.
Oh, well, I've already said my piece, so.
Yeah, so you're definitely for trying to stop them. I mean, not for nothing. Trying to stop them has a very short life expectancy, even though it is most definitely the right thing to do, which is why this needs to be a conversation rather than a decision.
Right. Because it's very risky, but... DM.
Yes?
Patrons are not exactly like deities, but regardless, I'm getting powers from my patron. Does he tend to have any opinion on these kinds of things? Because that would be something that would be on my mind, at least.
Your opinion of your deity's reaction to this would probably be something along the lines of stars come and go, which neither which neither supports nor decries the action. That could be him talking about the world being itself inconsequential, or that could be him talking about the star Xaryxis itself being inconsequential, or it could be him talking about both / all mortal life being inconsequential.
He could just be saying, look, the Xaryxians need to chill and just move, because...
I mean, and also that, yes.
But that would be a bit of a persuasion roll, even for me. I'll just go up to the Emperor and be like, yeah, I have a better idea. Why don't y'all just move? Yeah. Yes, would you like to score 100 on that roll, please? Thanks.
I have advantage.
But they probably think the light of the Xaryxian star is special.
It's something
and special,
yada, yada, yada.
Powers and
hence
it may very well do that. I don't know. I'm not a star elf.
But honestly, this is part of the discussion. Do we think that the Xaryxians have already considered other alternatives? I mean, what do we know about them?
We know they're egotistical gits.
That is true.
True.
That is true.
Historically, it is very difficult to convince even small numbers of short-lived races to move out of the area of effect of natural disasters after they have determined that this area is, quote, their home, unquote. So expound that to the level of an elven empire, and you can see the difficulties.
You think that gets worse instead of better?
Most likely.
So long-lived races tend to be even more attached to their home.
History makes you attached. If you spend 20 years in a place, you have a level of attachment. If your family has spent 100 years in a place, you have a greater level of attachment. If you have spent 300 and your family has spent 10,000, it's likely greater.
That's fair. So we're definitely not going to convince them to leave. So the other options are either to convince them to let themselves die there in some way, or try to find some other way to stabilize their star if we wanted to stop this. Can anyone think of any other ways to stop this if we wanted to?
Make it very expensive for them to continue.
Basically, we could tell everybody what they're doing and then
And start an intergalactic war.
pretty much.
Gordon goes into a little bit of thieves' cant here, then realizes he does it. You're saying we're offering them a Billy Martin?
Common.
All right, click, click, click.
Common, Gordon.
Got it.
Thank you.
The Xerxians are killing entire populations so they can eke out another few months for themselves, or whatever.
We don't know that for certain.
We don't.
We
I
don't,
mean, that is another.
we don't know the duration, but I would say essentially what Gordon says is correct.
That even they don't think that this is a way to actually heal their star.
Everybody gets an insight check, and she says, I mean, the energy of a planet is inscrutably far less than the energy of a star.
So maybe they're just buying themselves time to do whatever else they think they can do.
Yeah, I mean, if you recharge a star for a few decades, maybe a century, maybe two, with the power of a planet, that's the most you're going to be able to get out of it. You're not going
I had
to
assumed that as much when talking to him.
Yeah, you're not going
Yeah.
you're not going to permanently recharge a star with the energy of a planet. You would need tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of planets at
I was
once.
gonna say thousands, yeah.
So that plan of theirs is not viable.
Well, again, this is further discussions we can have with Hestervale if we want to try. But it could just be that this is intended as a stopgap measure, despite how horrible it is to the other sentient beings involved. For them, it could just be a stopgap measure. They're probably only targeting planets that was a port. So did it inherently house any sentient races, or was it just
It was still a port world,
a
so
base?
yes,
Okay.
it's still
But
a
probably
world.
a short-lived one by their standards.
I mean, everything's
Basically, they
short-lived by
don't
all their
care.
standards.
They
Yeah.
you know, other people are inferior to them. So, you know, what do they care if a few 100,000 beings die?
Per planet. I'm assuming this isn't the first one of these they've done, and it certainly is not going to be intended to be the last.
Exactly.
I mean, possibly. Like I said, this could very well be a stopgap measure. I'll tell you what, guys. Why don't we need to take a little bit of a break from. We were just in a fight anyway, and we'd probably take a little bit of a break of some kind. So, why don't Gordon? Why don't you get started on some kind of a meal or something for us? Why don't the three of you go set that up? I'm going to separate for a minute and try to do some thinking. And we can rendezvous. Well, I will go meet you for a meal in a few minutes.
Before we do that, I still want to hear Rexikar and Gordon's opinion on what we should do.
Well, as I was telling them earlier, when we have predators that would overhunt to the point that they would lead to the extension of the herd, we would have to take out the predator.
And then eat them.
So
Well, that
you
goes
are
without saying. You don't waste.
so you are in favor of taking action then.
Yes.
And Gordon?
We are one crew. We are half a dozen. Having said that, if I had the ability, I would commit genocide right now.
Okay.
I am.
You gotta love Gordon's honesty.
I mean, he is nothing if not he is nothing if not base.
It's
Most
it's
definitely.
delightful. Really. I mean that's completely sincere, Gordon. You know that, right?
No.
Okay.
I know. This is not. I'm a cook, for God's sake.
He's just a cook.
I'm just a cook. I make things. I
Sorry.
make things that make us go. I make things that go boom really nice.
KCF and
I'm still
Ryback.
just a cook. But this
So
guy,
I'll say what?
this some that's currently in the conference room, I want to break every joint in his body and make sure he lives.
Ooh.
Him and every single one of his particular empire. I wish to break them.
So here's my thinking.
Yes, Captain.
We're heading back to the Rock of Brawl because we're heading back to the Rock of Brawl regardless. When we get to Brawl, Archibald and I are going to go try to call in some favors.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I want the four of you to travel into the city and find a GIF named Commodore Crux, who is likely drinking himself to a stupor in the Happy Beholder.
You happy beholder.
Admittedly, it would be nice to see Luigi again.
So,
Luigi?
What would you do? You have something specific you would like us to do with our guest, Captain?
I mean, for now, keep him relatively safe and comfortable.
My soft couch in the conference room.
When
we
you
just
guys
normally
leave,
get comfy.
I will take care of the situation.
Okay. So, Gordon, make sure we have an extra serving of food and everything for him as well. He's going to need some rest because he's pretty badly injured. So he's probably going to need to sleep anyway.
Am I allowed to oversalt it?
Yes.
Oh, I
Let's not
suppose
get
you
my
could do
neck
that,
broken. No.
considering you can't spit in it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair. One or two little drops of, motor oil. Machining oil.
No, we need that. For the, we need that for the ship. I've got extra salt.
Salt it is!
Okay.
Just don't give him any of our good liquor. Just give him water.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he does
So-
not get that work.
All
He
right.
gets to eat because the captain says he gets to eat, but that's it.
So that's going to be that, and then you guys are going to now have a couple more days travel
Okay, yeah.
between here and the Rock.
Okay, so I let everyone else leave the room first
Okay.
Okay.
before I talk to the captain again.
Okay. We will pull everybody else onto the bridge.
Hence my
Or
earlier
on-
discussion.
onto-
Why don't you guys go start dinner?
I'll just pull everybody else's tokens just onto the top deck. And Seph's going to have private time.
Meanwhile, as they're leaving, because the bridge is right next to the conference room, right?
Yeah.
So as you all are leaving, Seth will be there. Like, I'll catch up with you at dinner. I'm going to go make sure that Archibald and Arla know what's going on, and our guests as much as he needs to know what's going on. And I'll catch up with you in a few minutes. And then after everyone leaves, Captain,
Yes.
I didn't want to call you out in front of the rest of the crew, but
Smart.
I sense you might know a little bit more about what's going on than you just mentioned. Is there anything else that might be useful for me to know when talking to Hester Vale or making any plans?
Not yet, but I expect that Crux will fill you in on some of the details.
Okay. I just, wanted to make sure we're all on the page we want to be on. I am going to go into the conference room as well.
Okay.
And let our other two, officers / temporary crewmen / temporary crewmen know what's going on.
Okay.
And I will also address Hester Vale. You will continue to be our guest for the time being. We will come bring you dinner with everyone else's. You may rest here. You're going to need to rest and recover some of your health. But in the meantime, make yourself relatively comfortable, without, attacking the rest of our crew again. Would be nice. But at the moment, that's about it, unless you had anything else you really wanted to share with us.
No, that's going to be about it.
Okay. I will be back with
GM?
some food for everybody.
Yes.
How long to the Rock of Burl?
Probably 3 or 4 days.
I know y'all are angry, and with perfectly valid, understandable reason, but we don't know what the plan of action is yet, and, not killing one of their officers might be a better bargaining chip than killing them. I don't know, but that's the captain seems to be in favor of not killing him, so for now we're gonna be nice. Captain says so, and strategically probably better. I know.
Stop it. I'm trying to set something up behind the scenes, and it's being difficult.
And it's not.
I mean, fortunately, you guys aren't really seeing much of it, just chat is, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So while all that is happening, I go back to Galley, get working on it. Check the store. Do we have any of the space seal left?
Give me a D20 roll. Actually, what is your yeah. Give me a D20 roll with your I'll just do it flat. Go ahead.
Flat D20 it is.
D20.
That
You only have like 1 or 2 servings remaining.
Something I had a little more than that.
Yeah.
1 or 2 servings,
mean-
like a nice stew. But
I mean, you
Well, I
do
mean-
have
Do?
also do have a fate point if you wanted to try to have more than that. I mean, that's up to you.
No, I'm not gonna.
I mean, that's a crazy use of
he's
a
like,
fate
I don't
point,
want it
but-
that much.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was thinking we could bring some to Luigi since we're going to be going over there, because fellow like-minded culinary people.
Well, you could save those for him. I don't
Yeah.
think any of us would mind. We've been eating eel for a while.
Yep.
While you were
We still got
gone.
honestly, we still got some Kiopino. So,
Nice.
all right, yeah, I'll pack that last bit up for Luigi. He won't be able to use it in the shop much, but I know he appreciates such things.
All right.
So,
You go back to full astral speed.
Mhm.
Everybody will have a long rest.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we need to do that, don't
we'll
we?
work on that. Yeah.
At which point, at some point after you have a long rest, you feel the ship lurch back out of astral speed again.
Up. Here we go again.
You will notice I did not ask you to roll for random encounters. That is because Ace supplied you with one.
Thank you, Ace.
Thanks, Ace.
Gee, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Ace. Um, so prepare for combat.
I
It
mean,
may not be a combat.
they're not always combat.
That's
He
Row,
could-
thank you for
it
the
could
raid,
have
Rum.
been a positive encounter, for all we know.
I mean, it could be.
But that doesn't really sound like Ace. I mean,
Not with that tone of voice. Nope.
I mean,
Nope.
I'm not.
so,
especially since he just typed in chat, I can finally mess with the party.
ugh.
Ace, I would like you to
I'm never
introduce
gonna
you to a
get these healing
concept called
potions made.
Okay,
plausible deniability.
so
Thanks,
you think I
buddy.
pick a positive
Just tell
encounter? You fools!
Tuesday, I will have my revenge.
We just said that, Ace. We said it could theoretically have been a positive encounter, but that doesn't sound like Ace, does it?
Do you know what the best thing about players on one night screwing with players on another night is?
We get revenge.
Vice versa.
I'm sitting here like Aldor the Immense, supplying arms to both sides.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You and your war profiteering.
I'm just sitting
I
here war
have
profiteering on the
disability
cards.
cards out the wazoo. I haven't recycled them lately.
Nice.
See,
Row,
the thing
thank you
is,
for the
though, I
resub.
can't get
Go get food.
I can't get back at Ace. He's in my campaign Tuesday too. That'll just hurt me.
Okay, so
Oh,
you all go to
I
the deck.
punished him for that stupidity trying to read a god's mind.
You all go to the deck, and you
Yep.
see,
Uh-huh.
not quite on a direct course. Let's say it's more like this-ish, like you were both sharing space, but neither one was directly headed towards the other
Until they saw us.
until now. So you guys are flying on that aspect, and they're flying on that one. You see what is definitely a star galleon. However, the sides of the star galleon.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ace. You know what I love best about this map? Yeah, the glows. Yeah, I have, I have nebulas swirling, and then I have some of the stars pulsing, and I am so happy with the way this came up. It's so nice. It's such a nice backdrop. So you see the ship in the distance, and even from here at a range of several hundred, I'll do this real quick just so the Ace can see all the overlapping light patterns.
Hey, I'm still on the glider. Am I on the wrong map?
Yeah.
I'm pulling you guys over.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Maybe, sort of,
There we
kind of.
Okay. So
There we
you
go.
see several hundred meters away
Huh?
a star galleon.
Shit.
There.
The sides of the star galleon are painted in chevrons of alternating colors. The sails of the star galleon are white sails with red, green, blue, and yellow polka dots.
Polka dots.
No.
No.
And from
No.
here,
No.
you can hear this.
Fuck you, Ace.
Ace, I will have your guts for garters. Go away, clown man!
We
Oh,
don't
God.
recognize them, do we?
No, this is not the same ship of space clowns
Okay.
that you have run into before.
Okay.
You gotta make it stop.
Oh, is Ace afraid of clowns?
Oh, is he?
Serves him right.
Alright,
Wait,
Ace
I
is
do not
afraid
feel
of.
sorry for you,
All right,
Ace.
so then
Oh,
I am
okay.
actually going
Nope,
to.
Nope.
We're going to pull the pack.
Okay, all right, okay.
Aw.
It was his card after all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's his card. That's fair.
That is actually fair.
He just wanted something that would screw with the party, and I know how much you guys love space clowns.
I'd love to
I have no-
explode space clowns.
Could be on
No
fire.
problem with space clowns.
Son of a-
You sure you want me to do it, Ace? Do the clowns? Okay.
Are you sure? Okay.
Okay, doing the clowns.
Well, besides then, Ace, then we get to kill them for you. So that'll make you feel better, right? That's your response to things you're terrified of, right?
Yeah.
Let's get the
Karma back. Okay.
Karma.
So-
Fire.
hate clowns so much.
Yeah.
So-
He wants us to kill them for him. Yes.
You
Oh,
hear
God.
Instant karma.
circus music
From
Yes.
this far away, mind you.
from hundreds of meters away.
Can you imagine how loud that is?
in the
God,
depth
that
of
must be so
space.
loud in that ship.
What do
If
you
we
do?
just target the sound machine, will that disable them? Yeah. They can't do anything then, right? That's how this works.
No.
I don't know. Can we flee? Are they? They're always aggressive, right? Because they're
I mean, they're not always
Animal?
aggressive. Sometimes they're recently fed.
oh.
Would
From outer space, make them go away.
would people be always aggressive to ships piloted by cows?
Probably. You know humans.
Sometimes they're recently fed. Ace is like, no, this is just getting worse.
Can we run away?
You
Are
get
they
to
faster
suffer with
than
us,
us?
Ace. Oh, God.
I mean,
Oh,
you
it's-
guys can try to outrun them if you just want to outrun them, or you can see, what they want or if they have any information to trade and just scam with them, or you can prep for an attack run on the much larger vessel.
I mean, prepare the quack. I'm all for buy mode.
Fine
Yes.
with me. Like,
Yes. Let's try to run.
Are you
Can we
sure?
run?
You won't get to hear the fun, space clown voice.
The points.
I would skitter downstairs to the captain and poke my head in. It's like space clowns.
Space clowns.
All right.
Ah!
So the party is all for running.
I'm
Yeah, all for
fine with me.
Screw this noise. I'm out.
Maeve's
it may not
claws
work,
are
but-
out and her fur is standing up.
Is there a card or point value to get a space clown announcer for 5 minutes? I mean, technically, there's $10.30 to get it for 30 minutes. I think I'd be willing to give you a couple minutes for free.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Or $10.30, and you can get 30 minutes of space clowns.
No! No!
And if that
It's
happens,
worth it just
my
to watch
guess is
Bacon's
one
head
of them
explode.
Anyway,
All right, so you guys have decided that you're going to turn and burn and try to outdistance the space clown ship?
Yes!
Okay.
Meanwhile, we should be prepared for if we can.
I'm going to set everything closer. Not that you're actually this close, but just to be able to set running distance.
right.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I know it won't
Something
help.
that's very
and quite frankly,
cartoony
the
and
clowns might enjoy this, but I will literally get a big old oar and just start going.
All right.
Anyway,
You might have to hand me one of those. That works in Raft. Why not in Astral
Works in
Space?
Raft.
What it does? It works
All
why
right.
did it have to be
So-
clowns?
Yes, why clowns?
Because there was a card played, and the clowns are wonderful.
I mean,
But they eat everybody. They're awful.
Not everybody. They stop when they're full. So I have pulled everyone's initiative into the initiative tracker so that you will all get to
Yay.
roll, and then we will do an average of the initiative, which will be your ship's initiative.
All right, so that means everybody roll initiative.
Yes.
Oh. Not my worst initiative roll ever.
All right. So 20, 18, 15, and 11. So 26, 36, 44, 64 becomes 32, becomes 16. And the Star Galleon and we begin combat with the Wandering Glider, which has a fly speed of 70 versus the Star Galleon, which I believe is a lot slower. You guys are going to be able to escape. That's almost a foregone conclusion.
Oh, second. I just wanted to specify this is not related to this encounter. This was, related to Hesterville. I wanted to make abundantly, explicitly clear that in the midst of removing everything from him that was dangerous, we specifically found out what his teleportation device was and removed that.
His
I would
teleportation
like-
device is that he's an astral elf.
Oh, we can't. So, but that's short range, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
within.
I thought
or
they
he
had
has
a
to
longer
see.
range one. That's why, because it was ship to ship. I thought they had a longer range external device.
No, the ships were close enough.
Oh, they were cllose enough. Okay, so as long as we don't get too close to any other ships, we can let him teleport over to the
Clown ship.
clown ship. Yeah, go ahead.
That'll take care of him nicely.
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
I mean, we can't make him anyway. So, all right. Then in that case, the clarification will suffice.
Okay. All right.
So basically, we're a lot faster than them, so we should smoke them.
I mean, that's what I'm checking right now. While leaving this wonderful, wonderful music on loop.
The annoying,
Yes.
annoying music.
I mean, you can always turn the volume down or off.
True. I did not think of
I'm not. I'm in fact bopping to it because I'm weird.
There's a slightly techno remix of it too, which is nice.
It is. It's kind of neat, actually.
Yeah,
This is again Nakarada's work. So yes, your ship is literally twice as fast as the clown ship. So you will have no difficulty engaging in fuckity buy mode. However, that doesn't mean that we won't have a couple rounds of fun. So
Yes.
the start of the turn, your ship can move. Your ship will move. Let me just move everything back here to the corner a little bit more. Doop. So your ship will move 7 squares. Theirs will move 3. So you, in fact, will just move 4 squares a turn away from their ship.
Gotcha. Until we are out of range.
Yes. So that is about the distance. You have kind of like already turned and are no longer in, like, you were just in mangonel range when you were able to detect the ship, and then you've turned and already started
And
to
we went,
accelerate
nope, nope, nope.
away. So you guys noped on this one pretty fast. So I'm going to say that you guys managed to avoid being within firing range from the start. However,
Yay.
you
However,
can still hear the ship, which means I can still terrify you.
there may or may not be roles involved in listening to the music.
Does anyone have like far sight or binoculars or any way to possibly be able to see what's happening on the other ship more clearly so that I can give you an even more terrifying description? If not,
I'm sure
it's
the
fine.
ship has some sort of, like
Yeah.
view
Okay.
thing.
So you go and get the view thing, and
Yeah.
you see that what is making the noise and also projecting the wind in the sails of the Star Galleon is there are large bubble cannons on the deck that are pointed at the sails, and as the bubbles drip up and explode, it bursts out the sails as if it were a casting of a gust of wind spell. And as it does, the music occurs. So there's dips and peaks in the music depending on how many bubbles are hitting how frequently, but there are giant bubble guns aimed at the sails, which is producing the music. You also see a
I wonder if they don't even actually have like a spell jamming helm, if it's just, bubble powered.
No, they'd have to. The distances are too big.
you also see a large, crazy painted elf in a harlequin coat. Picks up a device that looks similar to a rod, but a little bit shorter in length, and holds it to his mouth. And then a few seconds later, as bubbles pop against the sails, you hear the following. Attention! Damselfly morsel. I meant vessel. There's no need for you to try to run. We just wanted to invite you over. We were
For dinner.
having a buffet later, and we thought you could attend.
They want to invite us for dinner, guys.
Oh, sure. As the main
As the
flipping
main
course.
course.
Oh, to be fair, I wonder if they taste funny.
Oh,
Reg is okay
well
with
done.
going either direction with this.
I was holding that one.
So you start to accelerate away, and then you hear, "Attention, damselfly vessel! There's no need for you to try to escape. We weren't planning on doing anything like taking over your ship and eating you all for breakfast. We just wanted you to come over and have a look at some of the pretty colors we have in the ship down below."
that is literally Gordon. Nope. Absolutely not.
Free insight
They weren't
checks.
so much bigger than us.
Free insight check. Yeah.
Gotta be, please.
I mean, since he keeps misspeaking, yeah. I mean,
I wish I had prestidigit. Oh, wait a minute.
he's like, do I have prestidigitation?
No. Dang,
I
I
have
don't think we'd ever be
prestidigitation.
in
What do you want me to
range.
do? I don't think we're in
Damn.
range.
Yeah, we wouldn't be in range. Damn it.
Attention, damselfly
Range is
vessel!
like 10 feet.
No, 120.
If you are interested in a culinary experience, we currently are enjoying the intestines of a Hadozi named Betty. I agree. I first frowned upon it, but with ketchup on it, it does taste a lot like spaghetti.
Oh.
You know, most beings try not to name their food. I'm just saying.
A restaurant at the end of the universe.
Would you all like me to cast silence so you don't hear it?
You can
Yes,
actually cast
please.
silence on the bridge of your ship
On
and
the
all stand
party.
in the area, and then that joke was tripe. And yeah, so do you cast silence?
Oh,
Would you all like me to cast silence so you don't have to hear any more of this?
please.
As
right.
they're running away, yes.
Sure.
So you cast silence, 15-foot radius.
But we are immune to thunder damage. Not that y'all can hear me tell you that.
So you these jokes fuel me. So you all cast silence, and as you see the area of silence appear, you just see like everyone
Bubbles
on the
bounce off
ship just jump into it. Which means you don't get to hear the clown ship captain say, "Attention, damselfly vessel! I have a joke for you."
Oh no.
What happened after an explosion at the French cheese factory?
Fondue.
All that was left was debris.
Oh, all that was left was.
Debris! Remember, you didn't hear that joke.
Oh,
Your character
Your
did
character
not hear
didn't
that.
hear it.
Your character didn't hear that, but the players did,
Players
and that's all
did.
that matters.
No.
And with that,
Ace, did you get your money's worth out of that car?
you have escaped from the range of the clown ship. One more.
One more. He wants one more.
One more. Okay. One more. With that,
Project
you-
on the sail.
Sales and text.
No. It lands on the area of silence. It like in bubbles. Just pipes it up.
So with that, you will escape and make it to the back into astral space.
Yay!
Hey Ace, what's a space clown's favorite actor to bring over for a dessert? Robert Brownie Jr. Oh God! All right. So with
All
that,
right, there we go. With that card having been thoroughly expended, that was the most fun part of that encounter. So I'm good.
see, and the PC tried to blue screen in an attempt to jump on the hand grenade to save you, but I refused to allow it to happen. Okay, so you make it back into astral space, where you get 2 days more worth of long rests and of Maeve making potions if she has the supplies.
I do have supplies. I have supplies in my inventory.
Yeah. So if you have, I will again show the creating potions list just so you can see the time frames involved. You have 2 additional days. So you had 1 day that you could have made something healing or lower, and then you have 2 more days where you can do an additional 32 hours. So you have up to 48 hours of potions you can make if you have the materials. You can't do more than 48 hours of work time.
Yep. I've
Eating
already
rules.
figured it out.
Cool.
I'm gonna do 2 healing
Okay.
and 6 minor healing.
Awesome.
So I can actually who wants?
Wait a minute. No, that math doesn't come out. You said 48 hours?
48 hours.
Oh,
2
that's only
healing.
2
days.
healing's 32.
So
2 healing is
That would
32,
be-
which leaves you 16. So 2
So it'd be
healing and
4
4
minor.
minor healing.
4 minor healing. Okay.
Right. Which is 90 gold pieces worth of materials. So if you still have more materials than that, you still have them. But yes.
I do have more materials
Cool.
than that.
So 2 healings, 2 minor
That's
healings.
minus- How
But-
can I change this? I've got 300 golds worth of potion making supplies. And you said I spent 40?
You would have just spent 90.
90. Sorry, 90.
So you would have 210 left.
210.
And I can just go
Yeah,
in
there,
and edit
there
like
should
this.
be an edit field.
It's okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Bang.
Now, who wants these? Are we going to distribute these around?
Mhm.
All right.
However you want. They're yours.
Who would like some minor healing? And I think we better give the healing to Rex Carr because he's always getting bitten by stuff.
Because I'm tasty.
Yeah.
You're a tasty bug, so you get two.
Yeah.
healing
Priorities to
potions.
Reg, and then you and Gordon, and I'm less priority because I'm
I
rarely
mean-
in
That's
Damn it.
2 of the big ones, and then everybody can get a small one.
one minor.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
works for me.
I'll keep the extra minor, so I'll have 2, and you can both have 1.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Or I can give 2 to Gordon.
What's the
No,
amount
don't
of healing on a
do
minor?
The amount
D4?
of healing on a minor is 1d4 plus 1.
Okay.
24 plus 1.
The amount of healing on a healing is 2d4 plus 2.
Yeah, that one we already had because that's in here, but since these are a new one, I needed to just make the card real quick.
Right.
Are you making things?
She's making potions, and I'm making cards for potions.
That
Yep.
seems fair.
Okay, so you got me 1 potions of healing.
No,
Two.
2 potions.
You have
of
2
healing.
potions of healing under your consumables, and right now you're still showing a healing potion minor, but that's because I built it on your card to be able to.
Move it to ours, and
Yeah.
I have one. Yay!
And now that is everyone with.
1 for Gordon and 2 for me.
Yep.
On the minor.
Seth gets a minor, Gordon gets a minor, you get 2 minors, and Rex gets 2 potions of healing. So there you go.
Yay!
Short-term action complete.
Yay!
right.
Go. Right.
Whew.
Now, guys, try not to need those.
Yeah.
And I would keep everybody inspired at some point, so I guess we may as well just do that now, because it would be up by the next time anything happens,
I missed the clown.
I suppose.
Well, we have to go
yeah.
find Commodore Crux at the Happy Beholder.
That's what, 9 points?
That's what I'm looking for now. Yes, everybody will have 9 temporary hit points as well.
All right.
50.
So before you get to the rock, you in fact, a few hours out from the rock, get another astral speed decrease.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Excuse me.
The wandering glider pops out into what appears to be a bit of a asteroid field floating in space. You see colossal chunks of rock floating in the void, some overgrown with vegetation, some bare stone. There are scavers flying between and around in the area, creatures resembling jellyfish and rays gliding through the spaces in between.
Still good.
So what do
Does
you
this
do?
look like a harvesting
Actually, that's
opportunity
got a
or a
very
go
sour
around?
aftertaste.
Does this look like a harvesting opportunity or a go around situation?
I mean, it looks like both.
Well, if we're going to be slowing down, at least for a while, I'll go ahead and grab some fishing gear.
All right.
Give it a try.
So you guys get some gear and you start fishing over the side of the boat. And about a half hour in, as you're skimming around the edge of the asteroid field, obviously not trying to go deep into it, but just skimming around the side, you see a vessel.
Okay.
The shape of the vessel is an enormous spiraled shell
Oh no.
with an open bow in the front and a dozen long tentacles protruding from the front of the ship, just wiggling in the soup.
The ship is a Nautilus,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
but it definitely looks like a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And in fact, you don't need to roll because you all would know exactly what kind of ship this is.
Water.
This is a Mind Flayer Nautilus.
No! That's not good.
We are going to attack this, right?
I'm pretty sure Reg is already running for the gun.
No, first thing to do is run downstairs to the captain.
Reindeer.
Yeah, then I bolt downstairs to the captain,
Okay.
poke my head into the helm room. It's like mind flares,
Mind Flayers.
and point out to the ship.
She turns, and as it starts to move closer, everyone give me a investigation roll.
Investigation. I'm moderately investigative.
Seth and Reginald see that the Mind Flayer ship has a large blown out section on one side of the shell.
Oh,
And in here on
Aha! It's already
It's-
weakened.
yeah, it's already damaged. It's either damaged or incapacitated.
Later, Ace. Have a good night. Hope you enjoyed your card. Captain says, well, I think we got lucky. It looks like it's derelict, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't go make sure.
Yeah, I should probably make sure.
Because
Especially this close to the rock.
Everybody put
That-
on your tinfoil helmet.
that's exactly what I was thinking. This close to the rock, we need to make sure that this thing is broken, or we need to break it, or we need to figure out exactly what it has left that needs to be broken so we can tell someone as soon as we get back to the rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, so battle stations.
Are we going to try and just pummel it with the ship's weapons from here, or are we going to try to take a boat closer? And
The
look
captain is like, well, the best way to know for sure is a boarding party.
You say the word party,
A boarding,
and I gotta doubt the appropriateness of that term in these situations.
a boarding
Sorry.
action.
Yeah. I really think it's time we rethink that as a general term. Okay. All right, then I guess suit up, everybody.
I look down. Really?
Yeah, you come that way. I'm the one that has to remember to put clothes on. I don't have body parts. It's not automatic for us. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes, I do understand.
I do generally wear clothes and look
Tried a
vaguely
little
humanoid.
bit of that midnight stuff. Okay.
Oh,
And we still got little foldy boats, right?
Yep.
So I'll try to remember what I have in all my various campaigns.
Okay.
Do
So-
I still have it in my inventory? I don't know that I do.
Well, if you don't, it's in the ship's inventory.
I do have
Yeah,
it
it's
in
just-
my inventory.
So,
Cozy brought home water.
All right.
job on the effects on this, by the way, Deuce.
thank you.
Damn, that's some work, son.
It's all in the special effects.
Good that you
Gorgeous.
It's where we put all of our budget into post effects.
Yeah.
GG for the win.
All right. So, Noctis would be aware if no one else would, so he would tell you. This part of the ship will connect to the lowest. We'll have a door here going into the lowest level of the vessel. This bridge is the next floor of the ship. This is the next. And then there will be stairs inside that would lead to this level of the ship. And then another set of stairs leading to this level of the ship. And then also probably another extra secure area where the spelljamming helm would be, which would be up inside the top of the Nautilus shell, which is not visible from the outside. However, technically, the easiest level of the ship to reach by jolly boat is the lowest tier, because that's what would be at wake line. But
Okay.
it is not impossible to get to the other ones with some fancy piloting. This one being the easiest, because basically you just beach on a tentacle and you let gravity do its thing to move you upward.
Yeah, I mean, certainly makes sense. We got to check the whole thing anyway. It certainly makes sense to just start at the one end and work our way through.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Everyone give me a perception and or investigation roll as you are approaching.
What in the actual? I can't roll for nothing tonight.
Me either.
I mean, you're getting them out of the way when they're least important.
True. Valuable.
Oh,
Reggie sees, as you guys get closer, coming out onto the lowest level of the vessel. You see what appears to be a fairly battered human male who's trying to wave in and signal you.
is there a way to detect mind flayers in a person?
Not
Well,
particularly.
No.
Actually,
Just had to ask.
we're within 1 mile of it, yeah?
Yes.
One second.
Remember
I need to get
how
a
we
bottle
would
of
say
water.
that this would never, ever be used?
Would be less useful. We said less useful. Go ahead, Sadie.
Evil or weird.
You can sense whether the following types of creature are within 1 mile. So aberrations, celestial dragons. Okay.
Mhm.
So you are looking for
Yep.
aberrations.
Yes.
You detect aberrations.
Okay.
Come here. Excuse me.
Does not reveal location or number, but you
Correct.
detect aberrers.
And he figures that's okay because once he kills them all, it will detect none, and that will be the number he needs to know.
Exactly. That's how you know if they're done or not.
So it's fine. He doesn't need to know how many. He just needs to know whether or not they're there. That's all he cares about.
Yes.
Yes,
There's something there, but so we have to be careful about that one.
Dolly Parton's never. Has
So you can tell that there's one or more nearby, but you can't tell if it's in somebody or not.
Specifically,
Correct.
you can tell if there are aberrations nearby. He can't even necessarily tell that they're mind flayers, but I
There could be
mean,
different
the
aberrations.
assumption would be if you're coming up on a human ship and you're detecting humanoids, that the humanoids you're detecting are humans. They may, in fact, all be elves. You don't know, but the assumption is that, you know, does what it says on the tin.
The fact that there are aberrations there means, well, we got work to do.
Gotcha.
So probably make for that lower deck just because it's easiest.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys will get to do like that. I will move this out of the way so that you can move your individual tokens onto the ship. And then we will put this back there like that. So.
So, Guy.
Oh, thank the stars.
What's your name, sailor?
My name is Benotto Kralazar. I was picked up by the mind flayers, the illithids. I don't know how long ago, and I was held in one of the prison cells, and then there was a large shuddering, and I was able to escape, and I hid, and the ship got ransacked by Nyogi, and I waited until the Nyogi left to try to come out of hiding, but now the problem is I'm stuck on a derelict illithid ship with no way of getting out.
Yeah, that's the problem. How long ago was that?
About 3 weeks.
Woo! What you been eating?
I mean,
Great to ask.
it's a ship with a designed for a crew of 50 and up to 200 slaves. There was some food left.
So you're able to break in and get some food.
He could be a host still.
Yeah. So, thing is, Mr. Kralazar, we gotta, even though the ship is derelict, we gotta check it and make sure there are none more aboard.
Oh, no, I
And-
totally understand.
And since we can't be sure they're not aboard you, we got to keep you where we can see.
Okay.
I guess if we thoroughly check the ship, we would find out whether there was anything else, and then we'd probably know, right?
Oh.
I'm saying this to him, by the way, in his language,
Right.
and so Krelazar does not hear it.
Right.
Well, if we sweep and kill everything else that isn't not an abomination.
And then you'll know whether
Yeah.
there's still an abomination here, and then that
Yeah.
would tell us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you have experience with these guys. What's the safest way to keep him, from being a problem? If
He still has
is.
the capabilities of a human, so
So just keep him in the party, keep an eye on him.
either that or tie him up.
Traditionally, he's going to be a person until the moment that he's not, and then you have like 18 seconds to realize that he's twitching and zombifying, and then bullet
But there
in the
are
brain pan
signs.
swish.
He doesn't just instantly.
No, it takes
kill.
a few seconds. You'll know.
Okay.
So it'd either be keep him with us or we tie him up.
I think just as well keep him with us.
Yeah, I mean, if it's all the same, I prefer not to be tied up, just in case you leave and forget, and then I'll starve laying here, and that sounds terrible.
Yeah, I'm just as fine as keep him with us and keep an eye on him.
Has he been through the ship?
Have I been through the ship?
Have you
Well,
been through
he
the
wouldn't
ship?
hear this.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
How much of the ship have you seen? You know the layout?
I mean, a little bit of it. I haven't gone up into the shell, but I know how to get there. I can take you guys through if you want to check everything.
Well, as it is, you are definitely not bringing up the rear. So
Okay. Fair.
you're gonna kind of more or less be in the lead anyway, where we can keep an eye on you just in case. Just to be perfectly honest with you about that.
All right, so you guys are gonna go into the lowest tier of the Nautilus.
Sounds about
Yeah.
right.
All right. So you guys walk in.
Ooh, it's pearly.
And I missed him. Hold on.
It's strange. There's a lot of illumination, but there's still a bunch of black on here.
I mean, there's a lot of illumination because that's the only area that you can. Where'd he go? Don't make me pull him in again, because I'll do it. There he is. I mean, there's a lot of blackness because what you see is just the inside of this front cordon of the ship, and then there's a door right here.
Oh, okay. I can't see the doors.
You don't see doors?
Mm-mm.
I've only got a little bit of light around me right now, so.
You... Oh, okay.
I can't
You
even
know
see
what?
if the others are actually.
Bacon, do you have dark vision? I don't think you do.
No, I don't.
I do.
Yeah, you do. So yours should work here. So let me fix that.
Okay, now I see everybody in a door.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to burn a torch, aren't I?
No. I mean, you can. Or you can just, not necessarily take lead. But, yeah, so there's a lot of consoles to the side, giving off incredible multicolored lights.
Mm-hmm. Very pretty.
And then there is a door ahead of you. And the way doors work on illithid ships is they're actually telescoping irises
Oh, fun. So
that are
we're
made
just-
out of like a membrane.
I basically see like 18 squares, and is the party even in the same room as I am?
Yes, they're all just in the dark areas that you can't see.
Okay.
If we move the party to the sides, you'll see them suddenly
Oh,
appear
there we
because they're in the light.
All right.
Oh, okay. Because I have dark vision, so
Yes.
I'm like, what? This room's perfectly fine.
Yeah, everyone can see fine except for Bacon.
Oh, okay.
Would be a problem.
I mean, it won't be a problem for very long.
Okay.
I didn't mean that the way it sounded.
That's vague.
No, I get that.
That's vague, GM. We'll have to get you some kind of little dark vision device or something.
It's very common lenses.
Yeah.
Okay, so the door is opened, and Benotto will walk through, and now Bacon can see a little bit better.
I've got 6, 8 pools.
Yeah, they're these are basically stasis cells that large numbers of prisoners can be held in at the same time. At the moment, they are empty.
Okay.
Right.
And when
I'm assuming there's a certain one he passes and shutters
yeah,
or something. Yes.
and as everyone enters the room, give me a perception and/or investigation roll.
Okay.
Oh,
Perception.
that's slightly better.
Yes! Finally!
Mine are like exactly the same.
All right, so that'll be everybody but Seth.
Yeah.
Once Reggie makes it in the room. If you can't get through the door, let me know and I'll pull you through. There we go. You see a short distance ahead, like about here on the ground.
Mhm.
A rotting corpse of a headless mind flayer amidst the hacked up corpses of 3 hulkingly large creatures with blood splattered white fur.
And
Greenish white fur, rather.
how long does it look like these bodies have been here?
I mean,
That's the thing about the
Investigation.
Astral Sea, they don't.
Run into that again.
My investigation is weak.
possibly a couple weeks. It's tough to know for sure because Astral Sea things don't age normally. Like,
Okay.
you're technically in an area where, because you're near enough rocks, you're kind of in a wild space zone, so time kind of flickers a little bit, but it's
Gotcha.
not a full wild space zone, so it doesn't stabilize. So
So it's possible it matches the story.
it could. There's
It's not,
nothing
like,
specifically
totally
saying it does or doesn't.
Okay, that's fine. Just keep an eye
However,
open.
Reggie
Knows things.
Headless Mind Flayer. How do Nyogi attack?
I don't know Nyogi all that much. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
don't
should.
know what that
They-
Me
is.
as a player, don't.
They overpower in an attempt to capture.
Mhm.
Give me a investigation roll. This one is specifically Reggie, and he has advantage.
Okay. Good thing.
This doesn't feel like Nyogi. If you had to take a guess, the Mind Flayer was the target of a Githyanki assassination.
Ooh.
Because Zay always takes the heads.
And the other creatures that were there.
Everyone give me a nature or arcana check.
Nature coming up.
This relates to chosen enemies, so I'll give Noctis a advantage again.
Can I re-roll that?
No. Sure you can. You can spend a fate point.
Or like the dog.
Um,
6.
Gordon and Seth recognize that the other creatures are a race called the Quaggoth. They're
Quaggoth.
thralls. They're brutes. They're often in the employ of illithids.
Oh, so they could have been quote unquote crew members.
Yes.
Okay. Well, these are Quaggoth. They were probably part of the crew, so to speak.
Illithid shock troops.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead.
But they could have just been on the ship.
Maeve, give me a medicine check.
Okay.
But there was definitely a fight here, and they were not fighting each other. They would have been on the same side.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the point.
12.
So
Thank goodness for bonuses.
The condition of the corpses
Right now.
suggests that they were gnawed upon. Which, while it is in fact my second back-to-back 13th Warrior reference, is not something that you would normally expect would be related to a Githyanki attack. So the information seems somewhat conflicting. Also, you all notice that the Mind Flayer is wearing some rather impressive armor. It's basically a suit of breastplate armor where the scroll work along the edge of the breastplate is a series of spiraling, swirling, embossed tentacles.
I'll go ahead
So
and
he was
search.
somebody important.
Possibly. I'll go ahead and search him and probably take his armor.
Okay. I mean, other than that,
metal
you
is
find
it made of?
other than that, you find nothing specific of interest. Give me a identification check.
Okay.
also,
But
did anyone
advantage
else
if you have
disseminate-
blacksmithing.
Also, did anyone else disseminate any of the things that were just said?
No one's done it yet.
I specifically said something about the other creatures out loud, but
Yes.
How's that not? Where is it? There.
Would that be insight or investigation?
Investigation. And if you have
Investigation.
blacksmithing tools, you have advantage. If not, you do not.
I do not.
I don't think so.
It is made of a white metal, which is to say somewhere in the iron or steel or silver family, but specifically what it is could be steel, could be silver, could be adamantium. You're not familiar enough to know.
Yeah, okay. Never mind.
Smith's tools, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I can be checking this. What am I checking against?
Identification, and you have advantage.
Identification?
Investigation. Sorry, investigation. Sorry, too many game systems.
That'll help.
It is steel armor, but it's also exceptionally thin, which leads you to believe, while you haven't checked it yet, that there's a high possibility that it is in fact duomered of some kind. Because otherwise it would be too thin to use for regular armor purposes.
It's either entirely ceremonial and worthless in a combat sense, or it's been either disguised or enchanted somehow.
Correct. Generally, a lot of times for magical armor, this is done in an attempt to make the armor lighter.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I don't have ID prepped, so I don't have time. So we don't have.
We can take it and figure out what it is
Later,
later.
yes.
Worst comes to worst, it'll sell for some coin.
And
We'll need
Krelzar
to
said
somewhere
that the
where
ship
they
was
accept
attacked
copies.
by. He did say something.
Neogi.
Yogi.
They're a somewhat spider-like race. Morton's favorite.
Turn to Reg. Does this look like Neogi work? Do you know?
Yogi would probably not take the heads.
It's more appropriate of Githyanki.
I mean, I just figured it was a lucky swipe or something.
Did you see any of the fighting?
No, I did all the hiding.
Then where did the Yogi reference come from?
Because I saw the ship as they were leaving. Spider ships are really distinct.
Interesting.
The Neogi and the Githyanki would not work together.
No, that much is certain.
That much is certain.
The Neogi and the Neogi and the also the Neogi and Githyanki wouldn't work together, and Neogi and Illithid wouldn't work together, and Illithid and Githyanki wouldn't work together. Basically, they're the trio that competes to see who is the greatest dickhead in all of space.
Gotcha. Would Githyanki take and use Neogi vessel?
That's a possibility.
Could be.
Because that's always a possibility with vessels, right? You could always have someone else's.
I mean, arguably, you guys could fix up this and have a nautiloid if someone knew how to pilot a nautiloid, right? Like,
I mean, it would be done because we'd get shot down anytime we went anywhere, but it could be done.
But if you kept it specifically for hunting illithids in illithid space, you would always have the drop on them.
That's true. File that in the... Anyway. All right. Do we see any Neogi or Githyanki?
As you move forward through the hold and get towards the doors in the back, you do see more corpses. Specifically, you see 11 human corpses and also a dead Neogi.
Okay.
Right.
Though the humans could have been prisoners, so...
Could the humans have been prisoners of anyone else other than illithids?
Yes, Neogis also take slaves. So it could have been either they were slave prisoners of the Neogi or they were slave prisoners of the illithid, and both forces could have used mind control methodology to force the slaves to fight.
Of course, there also could have been 2 attacks.
That's true, too. Could have been a big 3-way fight for all we know.
Were these corpses also not on?
Give me a medicine check.
Okay.
Dragon bed. Looks.
The corpses, these corpses don't look like they were gnawed upon, either the human or the Nyogi ones. Also, you notice a number of like broken scimitars and crossbow bolts like strewn around this section of the hold, but none of the corpses show evidence of either being hacked with a scimitar or shot with a crossbow.
Now that's interesting.
What?
And a bit worrying.
What's that, Maeve?
Nobody hit anything.
It's beginning to look a little staged.
Yeah, I don't like this at all.
So we have at least 3 or 4 different possible factions going on with different methods of attack happening. Is that what we're saying? We're seeing?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
It is.
Shall we proceed or shall we go back?
Well, if we want to clear the thing, we got to keep going.
We
Okay.
can't.
All
But
right.
we don't know what we're looking for at this point. Can you just make sure that everybody's thoroughly dead? Like, if anyone looks questionable, can you just?
So far, everyone has been thoroughly dead, but
Okay.
you'll keep an eye on that from this point forward.
Yeah.
Do you want me to, there's a spell I can cast that'll, like, send them to a restful death.
Well, let's wait and see how many we run into, and if that's a thing to do, then we can like cluster the relevant people together or something. I don't know. Let's see what we're
Okay.
dealing with first.
Well,
Certainly not a bad notion,
It,
but
it prevents zombification.
yeah, but that's a thing to do before we leave. After we know like how many in what area. I mean, I assume it has an area of effect.
I believe it does. Let me spell book.
Unless the area of effect is the entire ship.
No, I don't think
No,
I
it wouldn't be that
I
big.
don't think I have that
Okay.
powerful of a spell.
So
That's
Then I'd
gentle
hate to make you use
repose.
it up and then find another space where there's more of them. You know what I mean?
So ahead of you, you see this area here, which is a exceptionally large iris, and then 2 smaller irises off in either corner.
Yeah, so we're going to have to pick one.
Right hand search.
Oh, wait a second.
What's up?
I have Speak with the Dead.
Okay.
Okay.
But who do I want to talk to?
More importantly, what questions do you want to ask?
Well, obviously we want to know who attacked, actually.
Who attacked
because-
who and why?
So, pick a human, maybe? I mean, unless we can't raise the illithid, it doesn't have a head. And I don't think those Yeti things
Speak
are
common?
very intelligent. What about the spider person? Do we speak their language?
Does that matter with that spell?
don't. Yes, it does.
Okay.
I believe it does.
Just gotta ask.
I can ask the corpse up to 5 questions. Corpse only knows what it knew in life, including the languages it knew. Usually the answers are brief, cryptic, or repetitive, and the corpse is under no compulsion to offer a truthful answer. If you are hostile to
Gotcha.
it and it recognizes you as an enemy, the spell does not return the creature's soul to its body only its animating spirit, thus corpse
Yeah.
can't learn new information. It doesn't comprehend anything that has happened since it died. And
You're
can't
getting like
speculate
remnant,
about
Yeah.
basically.
Neogi have an entirely alien form of language, much like the Thrikreen, but they are non-psionic, so it's absolutely the only thing they speak.
Right, so that just leaves a human.
Pretty much. You want to
Okay.
try, or you want to wait to see what else we see? It's up to you.
I don't know. This is a 3rd level spell. I can only do 2 of these.
Right.
So I mean, we can wait, or we can.
I mean, it's a good idea.
It's a good idea, and he's already dead, so his information isn't going to change if you wait, collect more data, and then refine your questions accordingly.
And we're not likely to collect more dead that you can speak to, right? Like, you're pretty much stuck with whatever humans we run into.
She can pick one target that speaks a language that she can speak, and that's it.
Yeah.
That, by the way, needs to have a functional head.
Yes, exactly. They have
Because it
have a
needs to
functional
actually
head.
speak.
It says
Yes.
there must still be a mouth, and they can't be undead. Okay.
Go for it.
You want me to do it now?
Might not be a bad idea before we go into the next room. We have no clue what we're running into, and it just keeps looking stranger the further we go ahead. Having more information about what we're walking into may not be the worst idea.
Okay. Can you provide me a corpse, DM?
Sure. So let me check something real quick.
Not sure how to target this thing.
I mean, it doesn't do damage or anything. You can probably just say you're doing it.
Yeah.
You probably don't need to worry about mechanics.
Yeah.
It's up to you guys. But...
I'm more checking something else real quick
Okay.
Okay.
to make sure I don't get it wrong.
You know, I think this is a good idea because we really need to be careful, because if this is still an
Yeah.
active mind flayer ship, we could be in big shit.
And there's too many different races involved already. It's odd.
Also, I don't think the question "what happened here" will be, you know, I don't think that's a good question, because it said we need, like, they're only going to give us simple answers, and I think that's
He's just going to say
Probably.
fighting.
yeah.
I don't know how the question mechanism for this works. Is it something where we ask, like, who attacked who here and why, or I don't know how this mechanism works, so...
You grant the semblance of life and intelligence to a corpse of your choice within range, allowing it to answer the questions you pose. The spell fails if the corpse was the target of this spell within the last 10 days. Until the spell ends, which is
When
10
I stop
minutes.
concentrating on it.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
You can ask 5 questions. The corpse will know what it knew in life. Answers will be brief, cryptic, or repetitive. And the corpse is under no compulsion to answer truthfully if you are hostile or if it recognizes you as an enemy.
So what in general do we want to find out for it, and then we figure out phrasing?
Who he was fighting for? Or with?
Who he...
Okay. That's a good question.
And then against. Which I guess is a separate question. Like, you could try to put it in one sentence, but...
No, that would be 2 answers. I would definitely say that's
Yeah.
2 different
Yeah.
questions.
Because I don't think you can cheese the spell.
You can cheese the spell, you can't cheese the GM.
What is the intended corpse? Is it human? Is it quartal? Is it...
It would be a human one, because Neogi don't speak any language that you speak, so you couldn't get any answers. And the illithid is
Right.
missing a head, so he can't respond.
Right. So who were you fighting with /4? Who were you fighting when you died? I guess we'd have to be specific.
It
Who were you
helps.
fighting with /4 when you died? Who were you fighting against? Who were the
Yes.
who were the forces you were fighting against when you died?
Yeah.
In case it was more than like he could just mention his one enemy, the person that killed him, but who were the forces you were fighting against in the fight where you died? I don't know if we would know what else until we got those answers, unless someone can think of something else.
Are we certain that this... We're not, but I might suggest, what were the orders given to you prior to this action?
It's a good one.
To what, the fight?
Yes.
It's a good one.
What orders were you under prior to the fight? Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
That's 3.
I think we should save the last two
And see if anything.
in case we need clarification or
checks out.
something.
And she's the only one that can ask the question, right?
Correct.
So the rest of us can discuss amongst ourselves, and Maeve just keeps her mouth shut until the question's formulated.
Correct.
And that keeps her from wasting questions.
Well, she can talk. She just shouldn't say anything
talk.
that can be a yes or
Be
no
construed.
situation, because then he can go, yes, ha, poof,
Right.
spell's done.
Right. Okay, start with what we've got.
And of course, never start with, hello, do you mind if I ask you 5 questions?
Correct. You can dispense with the pleasantries. He's already dead.
Don't ask him how he's doing.
How you doing?
I've been
Ace is
better.
not still in the
That's
room.
1.
Oh, I'm sorry, Morden. Morden's not in the room.
All right. Okie doke. So, you cast a spell on random human of choice. You have 11 there.
Yeah, random dead human of choice.
Whichever one looks the most intact.
Good choice.
Not unwise. More pleasant that way. We don't want the mouth doing things when it's talking. If possible.
And you see from Maef's amulet, a bit of green mist exudes out of the holy symbol and like swirls around the corpse and then like absorbs into the corpse, and you see its eyes open up.
That's unnerving. Go for it, mate.
Says the necromancer.
Oh, necromancer!
Oh, I'm sorry, different campaign. Says the one with all the tentacles and slurping noises.
Slurp, slurp, slurp. By the way, those slurping noises will like cover entire decks of this ship. I'm just pointing that out.
Yep. Okay.
Can I phrase it? Do you know the forces you were fighting against, or is that too?
Yeah, but then you
That's
would
a yes
just,
or no
it
question.
would just say, it would say yes or no, but it wouldn't tell us anything about what the forces were.
Okay. What forces were you fighting against?
Worms with legs and sucker mouths that would bite and devour. Worms with legs. Everyone can give me a nature check.
Lazy dice.
Lazy dice.
What? You saw it? It just kind of
No.
barely rolled.
So everyone, including Gordon, rolls high enough to know that worms with legs is not a valid descriptor for either mind flayers nor for Nyogi.
Yeah, I caught that.
Seth and Reggie would recognize that as a description of yet another spacefaring nasty race, specifically something called Surlons.
Turtles.
Sirloins? What do I know about sirloins?
Surlons are a spacefaring race originally from the astral plane. They grow to be up to 7 feet long. They have legs that end in hooves and arms that end in hands made of only 3 long fingers.
That sounds ugly. Says the squid. Says the jelly.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Sirloin.
What was your faction?
We were looting. Found the derelict ship and we were looting it.
So
Hey Ken.
some of this fighting occurred after the ship was derelict.
What were the last orders you were under?
Loot the ship. Loot the ship. Find the valuables. Look for anything Illithids had before the ship got attacked. Loot the ship.
Okay.
Reg, are these... I forgot the name of that race already. That we both-
Turlons.
Sirloins. Are the sirloins also something you can detect?
They would come across the same as the Nyogi and the Illithids and everything else that would be on this ship.
My crew and kind of whisper, do y'all have any more questions that I could ask? I've got 2 more questions.
So whatever fight he was in occurred after the ship was already derelict.
Yeah, so Sirlons may have
So
ambushed them.
when they came
Taken
to
it.
loot.
Yeah,
So maybe we want to know when his fight was.
would he be able to tell us though?
Right. Does he have no concept of time related to the present because he's been dead the whole time? That's good. That's a good point. It's after he found the ship derelict already.
Right.
And he would have no clue of knowing whether they won.
Right.
What do we know about the Sirlons in terms of did they take any slaves or have any mind control or anything like that?
They have some psionic powers. They don't take slaves, but they do sometimes take hostages for dining purposes. They
So
have
it is
been
the-
known to work with mind flayers in the past. Basically because, Illithids go for the brains while the Sirlons, consume everything else.
So it's a efficient partnership.
Yeah.
So still doesn't prove whether Kralazar is lying. Okay. Doesn't establish that either way.
Right.
But definitely whatever made the ship derelict, something happened after that.
Yes, that would be what you're getting from that.
That is definitive at this point. So it seems more likely that we're going to run into the Sirlons than the Mind Flayers. Seems more likely, not guaranteed. But
Much to
a fight happened after the ship was derelict. So,
much to Noctis's dismay.
Or excitement.
Ending.
Because
I
they may
guess-
not be mind flayers, they're still adjacent.
I mean, I guess we could ask him if he saw any Mind Flayers on his time, during his time here. Just because we're trying to find that out. Because I don't know how much else he's going to know other than he showed up, was trying to loot a derelict ship, and got attacked by, what we assume is just Sirlons. So,
By the way, I love the fact that Sadie came up with a way to try to resolve this mystery that specifically is not covered in the brief.
that's awesome. Congratulations, Sadie.
Well done.
That is cool.
This is why nothing can ever be written foolproof, because players are too ingenious.
Are too clever. Does that question make sense to people?
Did you see any mind flayers?
Only saw the one decapitated one on this level, and we're moving towards the next part of the ship when we were jumped by Sirlons.
So they didn't get any further than this. This room, what we see here, is all he saw.
Well,
That's what
he's
happens
dead
when
here.
you're dead. Yes.
I mean that he hadn't been through the ship, came here, and
Right.
then died in the fight. Basically, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Then, can anybody think of anything else he could possibly know? Because I don't think he knows anything more other than knows
This
about
room.
the things we saw in this room.
Hmm. I can't think of anything.
Sorry, I don't trust myself to speak right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, he was already down. That's what he just said. He saw the decapitated one.
I only saw the decapitated.
Oh,
I mean, is this a concentration spell? This is a concentration spell.
No, it's 10 minutes,
It's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
of which you have about 2 minutes left.
okay.
You all right, Bacon?
He's a little illish at the moment, but he's fine.
All right. Anybody think of anything else?
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Not that he would know. Unless you want to find out which ship he was with or who he was, so he can.
Yeah, in case we want
Notify.
to report any losses to anybody, we could try to find out. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I-
Which ship were you with?
Give me 1 second.
And we didn't see another derelict ship, did we?
You did not.
Did we see enough debris to have represented another ship? I mean, this is still a big old asteroid field, right?
I mean, you saw some debris, but without knowing how large the other ship was, it would be tough to tell.
Okay.
Did you see enough to be like a sloop? Yes. Did you see enough to be a galleon? Definitely not. And he says, dagger served on the filthy dagger.
So that sounds like some kind of, like raider, pirate ship, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just,
Yeah,
they
the
weren't.
spell ends then, because
Yep.
I've asked my 5
Yep.
questions.
5 questions. But you got good information.
I did get good information.
Yeah, we did get good information.
You got
That was
information you weren't
your
supposed to
fault.
find out for another 2 floors.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's why I said
that is good
you used
information.
the spell at a opportune time that was not intended in the writing of the encounter. And I
So
love when
could-
players do that.
Yeah. Good job, Sadie. So
I have
Sirloin.
a question for the DM. Could
Okay.
I go ahead and cast Spirit Guardians and just like have them floating around before we're in combat?
I thought that was an area of effect spell.
It is, but it's 15 feet for the duration of.
It's a 15
doesn't
feet
move.
sphere
Combat.
around her for 10 minutes.
Oh, it's only 10 minutes.
It's only
Yes.
10 minutes,
Okay,
so
never
without knowing
mind
how
then.
long we're
Okay.
walking through, yeah.
I didn't know it was.
That's okay.
It does say 10
Like
minutes.
for an hour, that would be worth it. But
Yeah, if it was
I
an
didn't-
hour long, I would say, yeah, that's a good call. Go ahead and just get it up and just have it concentrating for the next hour. 10 minutes, that
10 minutes.
might
No.
be long enough. It might give out before you would need it, and that's a risk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll pass on that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the 10
okay.
minutes.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
all right, so Sirloin.
Yes.
Okay.
And I pass on the description.
Because I
Astral,
know the players aren't familiar with one, I'm gonna
You
pull.
show us one?
I'm gonna pull one and just drop it in so that you guys can see what it is.
That does not mean it's in the room.
That is in no way indicative of the fact that it may or may not be involved in this encounter.
Oh, that's
Ew.
gorgeous. That is delightful. And they even wear clothes. I love it.
Oh,
That is a
hideous.
great model.
I'm not in a place where I can.
And they're pretty big? Or is that just...
They
How
look
big are they?
They're pretty big. Hold on, Bacon. I'm gonna. There you go.
Except. Oh. Ew.
Yeah.
So I
Sirloins are
described
ew.
that.
Which one, a six-legged donkey and a damn spice worm? What the hell?
I mean, kinda.
Ew.
Yeah. So I describe a sirloin to the rest of the party who does not already know what they are.
Right.
And it is, what is it, regular of them to just like attack and eat things, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and
They're
could
intelligent,
survive.
but they also consider themselves to be, above most races and consider most
Okay.
races to be cattle.
Or a little snooty. Okay. So, then does that mean
Also, for the
culturally they
record, while we're doing this, that's what Neogi look like.
that may or may not be involved?
Oh, they're
Where's Morden?
charming as
Furry
well.
spiders with eel heads.
Where's Morden?
They're his favorite.
So, if sirloins are snooty, does that mean they wouldn't likely just hang out and live on a ship waiting for people to keep coming and investigating it, or would they anyway? Like, do they do this whole like hang out in civilization thing, or does it seem possible that they would just hang out on a derelict ship, wait for people to show up and eat them?
Either that, or they were working with the Lithids, and when the ship was disabled, they're kind of stuck here.
Okay. So yeah, sometimes they do work with Ulithids.
Yes.
So it's possible that they are actually just who survived when the ship went derelict. They may have already been
Mhm.
here. That's another possibility.
Yes. That is very much a thing that could have happened.
The Ulithids, whatever Ulithids were here, did not survive for whatever reason, and they did. Granted, when we say they, we don't know how many of each we're talking about.
And that brings us to, are we choosing the right side door or the left side door? Or the straight up middle
Do I know
door?
anything about strengths and weaknesses of any of the races mentioned before we go forward and
Give me a nature check. First one will be for Sirlons. Second one will be for Neogi. Third one will be for Elithid.
Sirlons. Yogi. Nothing.
You want me to roll?
Illithids.
Okay, so I'll answer her questions first, and then anybody else who wants to roll, we'll do these in order. The Surlons, you know, are aberrations, and you know that they are mostly like magical in nature. Like most of them have spellcasting
Okay.
capabilities. And that's it.
Okay.
The second one was for what? The Nyogi.
What's for Nyogi?
Um,
And I rolled poorly.
the Nyogi are also aberrations, and that's all you get.
Okay.
And the Illithid are aberrations. Their technology is biomechanical in nature. Which explains the design of their ship.
Mhm.
And well, it is, and I should give you something combat related.
Yeah.
They are exceptionally intelligent and of they are of genius intellect and persuasion, and are of average or slightly above average human physical attributes.
Okay. I will disseminate all of that pretty much exactly.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's a 4-syllable word.
Exactly. I'm saying the 3-syllable words.
Can I see if I know anything else?
Go for it.
These are all aberrations, so advantage. Yes?
So you have advantage. Start with Starlons. Critical. Let's start here.
Oh, so she is. Weird. My dad's cat's in his dog's crate.
I mean, cats go where they want to.
This is
That
true.
is very true.
All right. Surlons. They are a race that is inherently psychic and resistant to psychic damage. Their minds work in an entirely different manner than most races, and thus they cannot be charmed. And being large, multi-limbed earthworms, they don't actually have eyes, so the spells they cast are based on a psionic form of sight. They are moderately better than humans in melee combat. Where they excel is psychic attacks that can be done at range.
Come on, Dale. Time for bed. Come on, Dale.
And you can move on to Nyogi.
Yeah.
22.
Did he go in with the cat?
He's like, whatever. See what she acts
All
like
right,
now.
let me get
Fuck
you. Let me pull up a Nyogi entry. Also aberration, but you knew that. Neogi are very agile, very maneuverable, very charismatic, but other than that, most of their stats are human or below human. They have a magical ability to charm and control targets, which will then force the target to obey their commands. They can be difficult to pin down in a fight because they can climb on sheer surfaces, including upside down, without the ability to test. And they are they don't have a hive mind situation. They don't have a hive mind society, but they have a society that is completely devoid of emotion, and everything in their culture is based on your position within a hierarchy, and they inherently don't understand emotional bonds or bias. And one more for the Illithids.
I would spend a fate point on that one if it did anything.
I mean, you got a 22. That's going to be pretty good. Obviously, also an aberration, but you already knew that. Ridiculous, genius level mentality, average human physicality. They are most dangerous for their magical psychic attacks. They have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. They have a number of inherent psionic attacks. And they are very good at avoiding a conflict that is not in their best interest.
Okay. Now we're going to lay all that through Seth.
There you go.
Right.
And everybody gets
I
those.
translate faithfully.
Well, it beats me saying it 3 times, so yeah.
Fair enough. So those are what we know of our current potential enemy.
Yep.
It's possible none of them are still here. It's possible all of them are still here.
Although it sounds probable like the Sirlons are here.
Yeah.
Also,
Actually,
I will tell you that you would know if you were to do a hierarchy of challenge ratings. It would go Sirlons, then Neogi, then Mind Flayers. As far
From
as
low to high.
overall threat from low to high.
Okay. All right.
Actually, that is a question. Would I know typically how many Illithids would be on a ship this size?
Depending on their purposes at the time and just how much, how many, meat units they had protecting them between Quaggoths and Sirlons, anywhere from a half dozen to a dozen. But certainly no less than that.
But the one Illithid we did see actually definitely was in some kind of fight. I mean...
Oh,
unless,
yeah.
And of course something blew a hole in the side of this ship. That was probably the oldest incident. Other things have happened since then. But... Alright. I guess we should pick a side and move on.
Yep, in favor of right hand.
Right it is. Everybody make a formation.
Rely on you guys to see.
You all can do what you want, because I'm going to be far enough back to keep an eye on our, new partner.
Okay.
Who's probably not...
Who's
probably
unlocking
not
the
gonna-
door? And
what's
how?
what's the opening like? Or
Just
is there something to be
it is a
touched?
stretched tight membrane.
So do you touch the membrane and it opens, or is there
The,
something to
the
touch
ones
on
that
one
you've done up
side?
do
to
you
this
touch it?
point, you've been able to touch the membrane and it has opened and allowed you to walk through, and then the iris has closed again behind you. This one, as Maeve walks up to touch it, it just kind of like resonates back and forth a little bit, like timbering, and it does not open.
I thought it might be locked.
Sorry. Get out.
Hmm.
Shall we try the central door on the right? Or
Yeah,
go
in
into the
theory,
left?
I could try to disable the mechanism, but biomechanical, I don't think I've dealt with this before.
Or does it look like it's, or the last one, did it look like it was something that could be cut through?
I mean, it's a living membrane. It can be hacked to pieces, similar to a wooden door can be hacked to pieces.
But it's not like a high bulkhead, thick door. It's just a door.
No, this you would expect this to not be anything like bulkhead weight. If you had to go with hierarchy of doors, you would say this one would probably be much more like from the tension of the membrane. You would say this one feels much more like interior house door ish than
Okay.
bulkhead.
Okay. So like closet or bedroom door.
Yeah.
I mean, we can test and see if any of them are unlocked, or you can break through that one. It's up to you.
Let's try the left-hand door next.
Okay. Try the two corners first.
Yeah. Or Sadie can go right down the center.
Or Sadie can just open the next one.
You wanted all the way over here.
Yep.
Yeah, but you already opened that
You
one.
already opened that one.
Well, this one's locked too, guys.
Yep.
Okay. Here, you can look through the door.
And both doors would open at the same time because it's all the same
Oh,
membrane. So I'll do that. I probably should have just done one big door, but
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
All right, somebody poke your head in.
And Gordon sees nothing. Gordon pokes his head in and finds out it's dark.
Got you. Walk.
Okay, that tears it. I'm getting annoyed.
Noctis, or Reggie sees there's another iris about 5 feet in, and flights of stairs going up to the next deck to the left and to the right.
Hell, that's fun.
Finish the floor or check the exposed stairwells first.
Go ahead and go up the left stairwell. Where Sadie's heading up.
Okay.
Well, where Bacon's heading up.
Oh, Bacon. Yeah.
All right, so everybody hold on a second.
I
and
literally can't say a thing.
That's okay. They know where you're going. All right. And you come upstairs to the next floor of the ship.
I don't see anything right now, but that doesn't mean there's nothing there.
I'm clicking on you, and I, in fact, while clicking on you, see the entire...
No, I mean,
Okay.
the area looks clear.
Clear.
Okay. Yes.
I'm sorry. I phrased that poorly.
That's okay.
teammates. I'm starting to get a little freaked out here.
Well, it's a pretty freaky ship.
And this is
I was
another
gonna say
portal
that
down
over
here.
and finally pop
That
my
leaves
torch.
that leads out to the
To the deck.
To the deck.
All right. Check the next doors.
And these are stairways up to the next level.
Those are stairways that go to the
These
next
are the
level,
two
and those are the stairways
stairways.
that went down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, come here, Good Bacon. Do you have, like, can I use your tie, or do you have a knife or something that I could use?
I have
Where
daggers.
you are, I cannot see a damn thing.
Right. She's
I'm
asking
gonna
if you have
cast
something you want to
continual
a light.
flame.
Continual flame.
I need an object.
Let's see.
You can cook and fillet at the same time.
Where does it just?
I've got a pouch that I'm not using. I could wrap my crowbar, or wrap around my crowbar.
Okay, I'm gonna touch that pouch and cast continual flame.
Boop.
It won't burn your pouch, and it doesn't use oxygen. It can be
Nice.
covered or hidden, but not smothered or quenched.
Yeah. So in other words, if you need it to go dark, you can make it go dark, but the spell will not
But it will
cease
remain lit.
unless dispelled. For a period of, let's say, long enough, since it doesn't say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, it doesn't even say. Wow.
No, it doesn't say.
That's an oversight.
It's just the equivalent
Well,
of a
here's the thing.
torch.
I think it's supposed to be make a permanent item because it destroys 50 gold pieces worth of materials to cast it.
Oh.
Oh, it does.
Yes.
now
Material,
you have a
ruby
pouch
dust worth 50 gold pieces, which the spell consumes. So, you can still cast it, and then he has a permanent light item that he can pop out, and I'll just take 50 gold off your card.
Okay. Yeah.
He has a
I
pouch
want
of
to do
light,
that
and he
for
can-
him.
And if he doesn't want light, he can stick it in another pouch, so it's
Yep.
not
So
visible.
there you go. Now you have a sock of light. So
A sock of light.
you can just walk around and just be like this and trying to see what direction to go.
Suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me.
Okay.
That works. Problem solved.
So again,
Say you doing all the
there
cool
are
things.
4 doors. Sadie's having a good night.
Sadie's having
There
a good
are
night.
4
Good
doors
night.
towards the north. And there is 2 stairwells that would go up to the next level.
Okay, guys, where are we
Check
going?
these doors first. Do our best to finish a level.
I'm gonna check this door over here.
Pardon.
Okay.
It opens. It looks like it opens to another one of those
What you see
stasis pods.
in there is in fact a large pool
Yes.
filled with what looks to be like small, like worm-like creatures. They're not illithid tadpoles. They're obviously not tadpoles, but it's like almost just like worms.
Mealworms.
Perhaps.
They don't look like mini sentients, is what you're
They
saying.
do not look like a mini sentient. No,
Okay.
they don't look like the brain eaters.
Okay. Didn't look like baby sirloins either. They just look like
no, sirloins
food.
hatch from eggs.
That's from eggs. Okay. They just look like food.
They just look like worms. If you consider
Okay.
worms food, then have at it.
I assume someone does, or else I keep a bunch of them on the ship. It looks like stores of some kind. No point.
As you guys open that portal, and as you open that membrane, you hear coming from this end over here. You hear a voice in common, saying, "Hello, hello, is anyone out there?"
Okay.
Turn to Krellisar since he's right next to me. Does that voice sound familiar to you?
I wouldn't go open it because if it's speaking in common, then it's done something dangerous. But that's just a brain devouring aberration that's hiding in there. We got lucky enough to be able to lock it in and trap it, and we haven't interacted with it since.
In a host
E?
or
Ari, insight check.
Yes. Okay.
She knows all my tricks. It's not fair.
What was that? A 14?
Yep.
I don't think I
mean,
have a plus
I
one.
mean, the rest of the when the pirates came in, they managed to trap it. I could hear it from where I was.
Oh, so you saw the pirate fight too?
Which he didn't tell us earlier. He said something else. Just pointing that.
Gordon is warming up the tie.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, Noctis had said something as well.
just whether he was talking about the forget their name. Dang it. Not Mind Flayer.
Mind Flayer,
Neogi
Neogi Sirlons.
No, the brain things that try to take me over twice.
Brain Devourer.
Yeah.
Intellect Devourer. There.
Oh yeah,
Intellect
he asked
Devourer.
if it was in a host. That's what he had said.
Oh, okay.
If he knew whether
Whether it was just
what
the
was in there was in a
Intellect
host.
Devourer or if it was an Intellect Devourer in a host.
It didn't look like a devourer. It was from what I heard from people saying things. It was bigger and had.
Look, at the moment, I do not care if
had
you were with a
spindly
ship
arms.
of. At the moment, I do not care if you were with a ship of pirates. I want to know what you know. If you were in that attack, we've got bigger enemies to fry. We have bigger potential enemies to fry in this ship than pirates. Okay, if you were on that ship, that pirate ship, I really don't care right now. I want to find out if we're about to fight, mind flayers or sirlons or anything like that. So if you were in that pirate ship,
I mean, I haven't seen any sirlons. All I know is that thing's trapped behind the door. To which the thing trapped behind the door, also in common, then says, "Oh, there's definitely sirlons. They killed all the pirates and ate them, and I locked in here to be safe from the sirlons, and you don't feel like sirlons, so I'm hoping that you'd be safe."
Well, the point is, at this point, we don't know which
we
one of these
cast
guys
Zone of Truth?
is possessed.
Shall we cast Zone of Truth?
Oh, you have a zone of truth?
She
I
can,
have Zone of Truth.
but it wouldn't help you with the guy on the other side of a locked door.
It won't penetrate a door.
Yeah. I
Wait,
ran into
wait,
the
wait,
same
wait,
problem.
wait. How does this go? Who would the other guy say is the mind flayer around here? Is that how that riddle goes?
Yeah.
They both point. He is.
I didn't think that would work, but it was worth a shot.
It's actually, would that guy say that you are the mind flayer?
Oh, is that how it goes?
That's how it goes.
Yeah. And one will say yes, and one will say no.
Oh, okay.
And one of them's always telling the truth, and one of them's always lying.
So you just always go with the other with the other option.
Right.
Sure, we'll give it a shot. Carlosar, would that guy say you're a mind flayer?
I mean, I guess he is, but I'm not.
So how's that work?
The problem is they're probably both lying. But
They might be.
which completely invalidates it.
That's true.
Passive
Doesn't matter anyway.
abilities.
Or one could be a Sirlon and one could be a Neogi, in which case they're both telling the truth.
Yeah.
So really, that doesn't clear anything up. I just
Not at
figured
all.
it could happen.
Yeah, so you have a thing speaking to you from behind a door and a thing speaking to you from in front of the door.
So here's the thing. If we open that door, one of two things is going to happen. One or both of these entities is going to attack us or each other. Or not, and then we have two suspicious people in tow. Sorry, at this point, I'm just going to say suspicious because there's something y'all aren't telling me.
Sounds like a problem to take care of after we clear the ship.
So do we want to leave that door closed for now and look at everything else first? Alright.
I mean, I totally understand if you want to check the rest of the ship first. I just don't forget about me and make sure you come back. I promise I'm not dangerous.
Technically, there's the possibility that it can get out that door and for whatever reason hasn't yet. So we'll keep an eye on our backside. But odds are not, or it would have already done so.
That seems fair.
But I just got to mention that possibility too. All right then. We're holding that door in reserve while we keep checking. Next door. Let's look. Whatever door wasn't that one. Go ahead.
Well, it would be the other two that aren't currently locked.
That one actually is locked. Okay.
Yeah. Because Foundry is awesome and I can do things like that.
Yay!
Oh, I can only do two. Okay.
So we try upper right.
Upper right's good. Go for it.
Try upper right.
There we go.
The tie is charged. If something tries to jump at me, it will get zarked.
Okay.
Zark.
Hopefully.
Empty chamber.
Okay.
All right.
And again.
Empty chamber.
Okay.
All right. If we've ruled out those chambers, let's reclose those doors
Agreed.
so we don't have random doors people can run into without even having to do anything.
Right.
All right. Up.
Up.
So,
Bye. Good luck.
Mhm.
All right, so you guys go up. I'm going to collect everybody together for another mass exodus moment.
Okay.
trying carefully to maneuver you in a way where you don't accidentally see any of my other secrets.
Right.
That's probably a little tough.
I mean, it has good moments, it has bad moments.
It has a thing. Ooh.
There you go.
Oh, that's a lovely pelvis-looking chamber.
Yes. So you have a stairs that go up to the next deck. You
Okay.
have a membrane door and a membrane door, which, judging by the layout, would lead to the open veranda level on the battle deck.
The bottom one
Yes.
on our screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Take care of the veranda first.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's going up the stairs. Basically, what you want to do is you want to
Oh,
go
okay.
around
I want to
and
go around.
quote
Okay.
unquote under the bridge and then be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
And when you open that, you find the veranda part of the of that tier of the ship, and yeah, you find this part over here, and you're fine.
And that looks clear.
And that looks clear.
All right. That's what I suspected. That's why I checked that next.
Yeah, so you can just walk back around, and then you've got this membrane here, which leads to another part of this level, or this door, which is at the top of the stairs going to the next level.
All right. Let's finish this level.
Yeah.
Okay. And in here, you see
Mhm.
what looks like a little bit of like a crew room, and you find 3 more dead, decapitated illithid, and a few more broken or discarded scimitars and crossbows.
Which probably belong to the pirates.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Wow, what's this spiky?
Noctis, give me a check, and you have advantage on it. Whatever your I hate illithid's ability is.
I think that is normally an int related thing.
Yes.
So nature.
Go for it. It looks almost like a communications array-ish, but you're not sure.
I'll relay that through Seth.
Communications array.
Hmm.
Does it look deactivated and broken?
It looks hacked at a bit, but you don't understand the technology enough to know if it's operational or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not even going in there.
No.
Well, if we don't see anything in there, then
Yeah, if nothing's trying to jump out at us.
Up to the next floor.
all right,
Okay.
up.
Okay. You go up.
Shall I open the door?
Only way to check.
And now I will slide everyone to the side again.
No.
And you get sucked into the vacuum of space.
Don't care.
Theoretically, neither do I, since I don't breathe, but...
Okay. And what you see here is this is a spelljamming helm.
Ah!
I was about to say that looks suspiciously like a spelljamming helm.
And you were correct.
In the spelljamming helm is the headless body of a mind flayer.
So somebody really came in hunting these mind flayers. Like, pretty much established that at this point.
Yes.
Presumably and probably the same people that put the hole in the side of the ship. Not necessarily, but these mind flayers were definitely hunted down.
Yeah.
Question.
Okay.
The hole in the side of the ship that we saw, did it look the same shape-ish as, say, the bow of a ship that we're familiar with?
I mean, it could have been the... Your choices are, it was the impact of a hammerhead. It was the impact of several scorpions. Or it was the impact of a bombard shell. Because they would all be about the same size.
Okay.
But there are very few things that make a hole that size.
And is there a correlating race that has a habit of just hunting down
The Githyanki.
The Githyanki.
Yankee have the hammerhead ships?
Well,
They
a
have
bunch
many
of races
different
have
ships.
hammerhead ships. You specifically know of a Githyanki captain with a hammerhead, which is why he was asking.
It was right, he was asking. Okay. But this looks like this could easily have been a Githyanki operation to
Yeah.
hunt down and destroy.
I mean, it's also
An illicit
possible
ship.
that it could have been a attack from like a Neogi warp spider or, like I
Right.
said, a Gith bombard. Not a Grand bombard, would have left a bigger hole. But yeah, very few things can crack a Nautilus shell and leave a like multi-floor sized hole in it. So out of those choices, the most likely one to be in the hands of Githyanki would be an entire squadron of scorpions or a hammerhead.
Well, I mean, if it was a Githyanki attack, the good news is we can be pretty sure they were reasonably thorough,
For real.
but
That
doesn't
means we
necessarily
might-
mean one couldn't elude.
We might not have mind flayers, but we might have other problems.
All right.
Like,
Next door?
Well, I take it the door on the bottom probably
Sure.
leads out to
Yeah,
the
it leads to the
observation
balcony.
deck.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it would be either, look at the body / chair, look at the door, look at the door. Or go back to your ship and say that everything's done.
Yeah, not yet.
Does the Spelljammer helm still look operational?
It looks broken.
Deliberately.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
It looks debt charged.
Okay.
Could it be repaired? Possibly. Again, everything here is a bioconstruct, so
But this definitely is a derelict ship. It was left in a state of being non-operational.
yes. This ship was specifically rendered non-operational, as were all the Illithids who are now headless.
Right. Okay. Just confirming as much as we can.
And Rexikar is jealous.
Is like,
We didn't
"Aw,
get to.
but you're glad it was done.
Oh,
That he is,
All right.
yeah.
Go ahead and open up this door in the back.
Okay.
Okay.
In the back, you see what is effectively the captain's quarters. On Mind Flayer ships, because they're all psionic and all spellcasters, generally the captain is the Spelljammer. So you can assume that that's the captain that was in the chair, and this is his quarters here. And inside of the room, you in fact do not find a Spelljammer, or you do not find an Illithid, but you instead find 4 Sirlons.
4. That's plus.
And that is where we'll pick up next week.
Okay.
Yay.
With a nice early fight.
Yay.
It'll be time to kick butts.
Yes.
Slimy, slugworm, butt.
So we were offered a fight tonight. Let's be clear. We just said
You-
no.
Took our time
you
getting
were-
to it.
Well, no, you were offered a fight and decided to run away because it was too scary. And then you had other fights you could have had, but didn't unlock those doors.
Yes.
I won't say which ones. And then got to this fight, but took your time searching like you should. And that's why
Like you
we are
should.
now at the end of the session, and this is not the correct time to start a fight. So that means we will
No.
start with this fight, the Mamma Jamma fight of the ship, at the start of next session, and then you'll probably sweep and clear the few rooms that you still had that were locked, which by the time you're done, you should be able to piece out the rest of the story as to what happened step by step, because this is actually a fairly well written investigative story, and all of the clues to figure out what happened are present once you've gotten all of the clues. There
We're
is
doing okay
actually
getting them?
there is actually a narrative timeline which can be found once you've
clearly.
searched the entire ship.
Oh, clearly. Yeah, we're definitely getting pieces. The pieces do fit together in that way that they don't make sense yet, but it doesn't seem like something doesn't belong in the story.
Right.
It just seems like the story gets more and more intricate as we go along.
Yep.
But
So for chat, that means we're up to the point of the night where you get to decide who gets a free fate point. Do we give it to Maeve Sadie for her timely use of a speak with dead to, find out information and that Sirlons are here when the party shouldn't have figured that out until now? Do we give it to Bacon for struggling through while feeling slightly ill tonight? Do we give it to Noctis for, pity reasons because he doesn't get to actually kill any of his favorite enemy? Or do we give it to Seth for leading most of the discussions and Hannibaling through the entire situation? Well, there is a purchase fate point for the Bacon.
I don't know. I believe we have a tie so far. No, we don't.
Nope. We have a Sadie, a Sadie, and a Maeve.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So we
Yeah,
got
so no, it's
Sadie,
actually
Maeve.
an
So
overwhelming
we have a
Sadie.
tie between Sadie and Maeve is
And
what we
Maeve,
have.
yeah.
So I would say if it's a tie between Sadie and Maeve, I would say that everybody else loses. And
Yeah.
there we go.
Boom. Done.
Well, I thought Bacon deserved one for being sick and
We're toughing it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
he
sorry,
did.
dude. I know what that feels like.
You're-
So for the record,
I've been through it.
me too.
Bacon sent me a message before the show saying that he was feeling ill. I won't go into reasons because, HIPAA violations. But Bacon was feeling ill, but he wasn't going to miss the session or force us to delay by not being here. So he toughed it out and sat here, and that's why he looks a little green in the gills. But he wanted to make sure that we got in our session this week since we were 2 players short last week and didn't get one then, and he didn't want everyone to have to wait 3 weeks on his account. So I am...
GG's Bacon.
So, for that reason, I am also going to award a demonstrative point for Bacon.
Yay!
Oh.
So, for
Although I
taking
might-
one for
I
the
might-
team Bacon
I
gets a
might
point.
say this might actually be the fate point that I earned last week because everybody thought it was cool that I was the big bad. Because that was
Legit.
awesome. Oh,
Oh well,
Legit.
if you want to apply that one here, or remember you
Oh yeah, we all get to apply.
I had an
I
extra
think
too.
you
Yeah.
did. Seriously.
yeah, you guys. So I mean, obviously it goes. Sadie's going to put hers here because this is the one character that she currently has.
Yeah.
All of you, yeah, anybody that was in the final episode of the Ravenloft campaign has a fate point that they can announce to a character, and
I would put that here too.
you would put that here too. Okay.
Yeah.
And Bacon has one from the Call of Cthulhu adventure. So you can
Oh yeah. You got
now those are
4 extra.
those are floating fate. You can apply them to characters you currently have. You can remind me that I owe you them later in further campaigns. You can wait till you burn all of them off of a character and then go, yeah, that floater, I'm calling it now because I need another fate point because I ran out. So
Yeah.
you guys have options.
Yeah, my other character has a dozen, so I'll apply it here.
I will keep that one as a float.
Keep that on
just
account?
in case.
Yep. Good call. All right, so that's going to be it for tonight's show. If you're watching this on YouTube, please be a good werewolf, like and subscribe, tell your friends. If you want to watch us actually play this campaign live for reals, make sure that you come over to Twitch on Sundays because we run this from 7 to 11 p.m. on Sunday evenings. If you are interested more in dark and sinister affairs, we have a Drakenheim campaign on Saturdays. If you like dark and gritty affairs, we have a gothic adventure campaign on Tuesdays. If you like the happiness of this but want a little bit more chaos in your life, we have a high fantasy exploration campaign on Thursday. And if all that's not enough for you, all 4 of those campaigns, as well as a short Ravenloft campaign, are all available on YouTube in different viewing lists, so you can binge to your heart's content. A bit more chaos. Yeah, it definitely is. So, once again, thank you all very much for watching. Do the things like subscribe. Come over to Twitch. Tell us you watched us on YouTube first. I love it when people do that. So come and hang out with us and have fun. You also get to see the pre-show and the post-show and the break conversations that only happen on the Twitch. So until then, everybody, thank you very much. Have a good evening. We love your face, and we will see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.